Hey, what's up, everybody? Today is April 25th, 2011, and you're listening to episode 153 of On Tap. And yes, it is finally here. It's part 5 of the comic book video game retrospective. I'm Dale Coulis, but of course you already knew that. And I'm joined by, who else could it be? Matt Kohler.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Dude, I can't believe it. Part 5.
It only took us, 2 years?
Something like that.
Because I'm lazy.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
And if you want to reference the previous installments of the comic book video game retrospective, if you go to our website at ontappodcast.com, the previous installments are episodes 92, 97, 131, and 136.
A little bit of a gap.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
A little bit of a gap.
For 40 episodes.
So yeah, anyways,
it's a semi-annual show we do here.
That's right. So yeah, and this episode will mostly be covering the 360, Wii, and PS3 comic book games. We don't really count the handhelds. I think we may have 1 or 2 exceptions, but for the most part, this is mostly Wii, PS3, and 360. So
maybe we will do a handheld one someday.
This game was a port. It sucks. This game was a port. Sucks.
There's a lot of good Game Boy Ninja Turtle games. Oh well. Let's get to it, man. We got a lot of ground to make here.
That's right. But before we do that, let's get a quick what we've been playing out of the way, because this wouldn't be an episode without it. Matt, what have you been playing lately?
I think we talked about a little bit Alan Wake and WWE All-Stars, which Alan Wake is a much better game than All-Stars. But I've had this game for a while here. You talked really highly of it, and I finally gave it a shot, and then I talked to my friends about it. So, really good game. Really enjoyed it. DLC is amazing. Whole game is amazing.
That's good. I'm glad I hear you. I heard some people have some mixed.
Yeah, I did read some reviews about it, and a lot of people I don't know about this.
I know some people have problems with game kind of having tedious combat, but for me, it always kind of had me on my.
It just sticks to its guns. I thought that was pretty good, and it's rare that a game will do that. But I also like the vibe with it. Definitely Twin Peaks and Hitchcock influenced. So a little bit of Stephen King in there as well.
Get your coffee thermoses, man.
Yes.
Get your coffee thermoses.
I didn't enjoy the radio bits, though. Those were pretty good.
So you did the
Night
DLC,
Springs.
you said, right?
Night Spring is good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The Night Springs episodes, it's amazing, so enjoy that. Yes, I did the DLC, I really liked it.
Like I mixed it up a little bit?
Yes, I did.
All crazy?
Yeah. Yeah, I sucked at the DLC, actually. I got killed a lot in the first one.
The maze and the Ferris wheel killed me a lot.
Oh, man, yeah.
That fucked me up. I almost gave up right there. Ferris wheel, you're like in a Ferris wheel-like structure, but the Ferris wheel is actually kind of like this weird room maze-like structure, but it's going in a circular motion like a Ferris wheel.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The room is actually like a wheel. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep, I got you.
That part sucks.
I was like, Ferris wheel? I don't remember a Ferris wheel.
It just reminded me of a Ferris wheel.
Okay.
It sucked.
All-Stars is good, though, but I think you're playing that as well, so...
Yeah, I'm digging it. Still, I wouldn't say I'm loving it, but I'm having a good time with it.
It's alright. It's one of those things, I wish I'd have paid less for it, but I think the Fantasy Warfare is really good. I enjoyed the promos.
Always getting pissed off at the computer for reversing like 3/4 of my moves.
Have you had an elimination match yet?
Yep.
A 2-on-1?
I did them online, yeah.
No, if you play the game, if you play the Path to Glory, or whatever it's called in this, I don't know what it's called, but the Superstar Challenge Pass, they will put you up against 2 other competitors.
Oh no!
And they kept killing me. They'd fight. They would not fight each other. They'd just both come after me until I was out of energy, and they just pinned me, and that was it.
Those bastards.
So yeah, be warned about that. I know a lot of people hate the reversal system, and I agree with them. So, but I'm starting to get the hang of it. So. The promos though for Fantasy Warfare.
Yeah, those are cool.
That's
I'm
cool.
Like through about half of those, yeah.
But that's all I got, man.
Cool. Well, let's see here. Besides, All Stars, of course. Another wrestling game, SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. I am almost, because of a stupid glitch, I cannot 1,000 gamer score that game.
Really?
I'm at 990, and the last achievement I have left is upload 5 community creations. And the game on 2, I only have uploaded all but 2. I still have to upload a created wrestler and a highlight reel. And I got them made, but the game won't let me upload them because it always times out while uploading it. And I got similar had similar issues with that same achievement in 2010. Eventually, I just kept trying over and over, and eventually it went through.
There's a way, if you go online, it'll actually tell you how to do it. A lot of people had trouble with that.
Well, I did one online with 2011, though, and they said this is an issue, and it's been happening for everyone, these last few months. People were able to get it right around the time it came out, but it's been an issue these last few months. People haven't been able to get the achievements, so every couple of days I'll throw in 2011 just to see.
That game's just a disappointment to me. I'm sorry.
Can I upload it? Nope.
I've been a fan all the last few years and the sub games in the wrestling category, but like the All Stars and the Legend of WrestleMania. But this year's wrestling game was pretty disappointing, I'd say, overall.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I dug the road to WrestleMania. The stories, like the backstage stuff, could use some work, but the storylines were pretty cool. I thought
the backstage stuff drug it down for me really bad. So I'll give it another chance. But just my initial, I did one of those main stories, just one story run through, and I really disliked it. So
that's your other stuff. A ton of You Don't Know Jack the last couple of weeks. We have buddies over, or my brother comes by, we'll game it up every now and then. Usually do a couple rounds of You Don't Know Jack just to kick off the gaming session. So I'm trying to play through all the episodes in order, about through episode I want to say 27, 28 right now.
Oh,
so
well, I haven't played it since last time I was over here. Actually.
Oh no,
I'm like 11, I think, but oh well.
Fair amount of Black Ops online. I know Scott and I have been kind of doing the split screen online play. You can bring a guest online with this Call of Duty, which is awesome because I think it's the first one that does that. And I'm slowly getting better. The last time I played, I topped my old record for most kills in a round with 13. I think I'm like level 19 now. I think. Hooray! Let's see here. Last window, I put maybe about an hour in on the DS. Just finally getting past the intro. Little Motorstorm Pacific Rift on PS3. A little bit of getting psyched for the upcoming Fast 5, so I finally threw in Need for Speed Most Wanted. And I'm glad I did, because the cutscenes for that are just so cheesy, hokey, that it seems like it's kind of like an unofficial B Fast and Furious movie, which is saying a lot. Because all the full motion videos of all the actors, they just really ham it up big time. Also played, the past week I threw it in a couple times, Fallout 3. I was like, I'm going to start the pit finally and do another DLC. And I open up my Pip-Boy to find it, and it's like, oh, here's this other side quest. I don't remember this being there. Hey, I can get an achievement for this one. So I did that. And I ended up doing that for like 3 other side quests. I think Riley's Rangers was one of them. And I ended up spending I think an hour and a half trying to find their damn headquarters, because that was the end of the achievement. Was like, oh, okay, now deliver the news that you did all this at the Riley's headquarters. It took me like an hour and a half to find the damn place. I hate that map in the Pip-Boy. And a couple other side quests in there. I had a blast going through it again, and now I still want to plow through the DLC. But I want to play the Pip, and now I just finally got level 20, where it's like, oh, I did the perk where I can unveil all the locations on the map.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, there's a Lincoln Memorial. I always wanted to go there, but I could never find it. And there it is. So now, who knows when I'll start it. And, let's see here, the Gears of War 3 beta. But since it's a beta, I don't really know if I should or can talk about it. I know it's like it's almost like a public beta. They're like giving codes away if you pre-order it or if you got Bulletstorm.
Well, there's videos online of it.
Yeah.
So.
But I guess I just speak quick general terms. I'll just say, I'm really digging. Of course, it's Gears. I'm a Gears not just big old. Love playing Gears 2 multiplayer, and Gears 3 multiplayer is just as much fun. Matchmaking's way better, way faster. You get into matches, and kind of digging the new guns. Like that they have big risk rewards to the new guns. So
that if you're not playing it right now, they have been putting videos up on Game Informer. Like yesterday, they had a special bunny outfit. Any male character was wearing essentially bunny ears.
Oh yeah.
For Easter, so
nice.
But yeah, just check out some videos if you're not playing it. So.
And played a bunch of Mortal Kombat because my brother got it. He's a huge MK fan. He loves it. Of course, Joe. For listeners who've been listening for a while, may remember Joe and I did a big old Mortal Kombat retrospective episode about a year or so ago, and Joey was psyched about this new one, and I didn't play a demo or anything about it, I just knew it was coming out, but I was like thinking, maybe when it's $30 or so, I'll probably pick it up because I don't like paying full price for fighting games. And Joe told me, he's like, I got the new MK, I got the Tournament Edition with the arcade stick. You gotta come over and check it out, play it a little bit, and just ended up having a blast with it. And the arcade stick's probably like the best arcade stick I ever tried out before. Felt like it was ripped right out of an arcade cabinet. Real high quality buttons, paneling, you name it. And before I knew it, I ordered the damn thing off Amazon. So, yay! It should be coming in here within a couple of days. Yeah, and we'll be talking about that more at length because next episode of On Tap, actually, Joe's coming on. We're going to do a big ol' hands-on review here of Mortal Kombat, so be on the lookout for that next episode. But, crap, so I guess with all that out of the way, let's dive right into the final installment of the comic book video game retrospective, and we're kind of going to do a similar thing where we kind of rotate back and forth alphabetical order like we did in the previous installments, but, just the way some games panned out that Matt or I've played more than the other. We may end up covering a couple in a row. Yeah. So, I know Matt
back and forth. So,
I know Matt here is going to cover the first three actually. So,
all right, I'm going to kick it off. First game we covered, Alien vs. Predator in 2010, Rebellion Sega. It is a multiplayer first-person shooter in which players can control aliens, predators, or marines. Each type has a unique campaign and control scheme. The Marines campaign is a basic survival horror-type first-person shooter and is the hardest of the three in my opinion, but the lighting scheme and general atmosphere make it worthwhile. Predator campaign plays more stealth-based and tactical. Players can utilize mainstay weapons such as the shoulder-mounted plasma cannon, disc, spear, and retractable wrist blades. Trademark thermal vision appears as well. The Alien campaign was probably my favorite. It is a lot more frantic and aggressive. Your only weapons consist of your tail and claws, and you can also pin victims and let facehuggers have their way with them. The story between the three intertwines as one overall story arc, with Wayland of Weyland-Yutani being behind things. It's your standard, we want to learn more about them story. Really, it's interesting to see things from the Predator's point of view. The game received mixed reviews, and fairly so. It wasn't a bad game, it was just uneven. And I remember I was talking to you when I was playing this, and just the Marine section of the game is just really brutal because you just feel outclassed.
No powers.
Yeah, you're kind of just got to rely on your gun and your flares. And after you get past that, it gets a lot better. I mean, it's good for what it is, but it could have been a lot better. But overall, I thought it was all right. So. I don't know. I think it's worth a try. I know you're not going to play it, and you're not a fan of some of the franchises.
I can't remember if they made a demo of this or not, but
I thought playing as Alien was definitely fun though. So,
and I guess I'll just throw out a quick. I just remembered this, but Sega published this, and this is supposed to be part of a 3-game deal. Because when Sega acquired the Aliens license, they announced 3 games, and but though one of them got canceled, and it was supposed to be a RPG.
Wasn't Gearbox working on one of them?
It was Gearbox or Obsidian, and some footage leaked online of it. And we're seeing it, and it kind of had that Mass Effect kind of, like they're going for that Mass Effect kind of feel with branching good or evil storyline, and it didn't really get an official title or announcement, but it was in the works. Eventually, just got canned.
Which is terrible because I think everybody, every fan of that genre, looks for one of those games. I mean, there's always something to look forward to, but. We'll dive right in the next one, Batman Arkham Asylum, which is a huge game.
Yes.
2009, Rocksteady Eidos. Single-player action-adventure game with elements of stealth, and I know you weren't a huge fan of the stealth segments, but...
No, actually, I think the first time I played the demo, I did not like it, but then I ended up renting the game last year, played about 4 or 5 hours, and I really learned how to come around on it, so...
The story for this game was written by Paul Dini of Batman the Animated Series. It's one of the few Batman games not actually based on a movie or cartoon, and I don't want to say if it's canon or not, but it's kind of its own thing. I really like that about it. It's got some of the mainstay voices from the Batman series, such as Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, and Arlene Sorkin, who did Harley Quinn. And like I said, they provide the voiceovers for the game, which is really cool. Those characters carry over.
That's cool, but since you said it's its own thing, do you think it's really appropriate for them to use the animated series cartoons?
Honestly, man, to a lot of people, Kevin Conroy is the voice of Batman, and Mark Hamill.
I know he is to me, yeah.
Just for everything. And Mark Hamill said, I think Arkham. I'll talk about that when I get to that. So, the game starts out with the Joker being arrested and arriving at Arkham Asylum and eventually escaping. Joker, with the aid of Harley Quinn and his gang, proceed to take over the island and plan on using a newly found chemical named Titan to wreak havoc in Gotham. It's kind of up to Batman to stop him like usual. So game plays like a third-person over-the-shoulder type game, focusing mainly on combat. A few stealth sections appear, and Batman utilizes his fear tactics to down enemies. There's also a detective mode, which is a special visor Batman utilizes to highlight special objects and people. Some of the gadgets that are going to appear in this game are the Batarang, Compound Sprayer, and Detonator, which is kind of like a foam you spray on walls or something that you can detect and be destructed. Grappling Gun, the Frequency Scanner, which you use to just blow up devices to open doors and stuff like that. And the equipment you pick up as you play the game helps encourage you to backtrack and further explore previous areas, where you can search for the Riddler's clues.
I'm sorry, I just want to... The way you're describing these gadgets and all that, I remember them being in the game from the time I played it, too, but the way you're describing it, too, the way the game... It's reminding me a lot of Shadow Complex right now. Just because you could do, like what you said, you could get, like, a foam thing to detect what can be destroyed and... destroyable walls and stuff like in Shadow Complex, and backtracking is a big deal in that game too. And
I actually took the time to when you get the clues and stuff, like you see these Riddler clues everywhere. One of the few games I actually tracked everything down. It was just such a blast to play. But when you find the clues, you actually unlock a lot of bonus content, such as bios, patient interviews.
Yeah, those are really cool.
Yeah, and then experience points for stuff. Characters that are going to appear in this game: Oracle, Commissioner Gordon, Bane, Zsasz, Scarecrow, Killer Croc, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn. And then there's characters that are cameo or being alluded to, which is like the Penguin you see his Umbrella Collection. You see Mr. Freeze's cell. You see Two-Face and Calendar Man's cells. Clayface. You also see Ra's al Ghul's body in the morgue, which if you go back later in the game, his body's actually gone, which is, if you know Ra's al Ghul's, you know that. But also Joker has Scarface on his lap at points in the game. So it's considered one of the greatest comic book games, and is also a Guinness winner for most critically acclaimed superhero game ever. So
now, what makes it think to you? I think it's easy worth saying that this is probably like the best Batman game there is.
It's easy. It's so immersive in the lore, and just everything felt right about it.
A great atmosphere, great
I
vibe.
will make a gripe I had. Detective mode, I felt myself playing detective mode more than I did. I think that took away from it, because I was like, I gotta go look for clues, and I gotta look for this and make sure I don't miss anything. And I think I stayed in that. I think that to me took away from the game. And from what I've read so far about Arkham City, they're gonna make it so you can't use it all the time, which I appreciate that. So, but it's an amazing game.
When using it.
Amazing game, yeah.
Yeah, I love the vibe. I think the art style is just fantastic. I mean, it has that. It kind of appeals to both. Kind of like even it's using the animated voice actors. So there's elements of the animated series in it,
but
it doesn't
familiar feeling.
Familiar feeling, but it's not super cartoony where it's feeling like it's like we'll talk about later, Brave and the Bold, where it's completely have a more kid pleasing aesthetic to it, but it also has just like a really great mature adult oriented art vibe to it, especially for characters like Joker and Harley Quinn. Just look really, really modern and wicked.
Okay. With that, I'll jump into a game that actually isn't out yet, which is something we rarely do for the comic book podcast, which is nice.
Well, we got to mention them, and it's a preview.
Next one's coming up, another big release coming out later this year, where pretty much a lot of people are excited for. Arkham City. It's going to come out later this year by Rocksteady and Warner Brothers again.
Of course, people wondering what Eidos ended up merging with Square, or technically, I think technically they merged, but even though Square is pretty much handling all the publishing rights, but in the process of that merger, they lost the rights to the Batman games. So, but Rocksteady's still developing them because they got bought out by WB.
Which I'm all right with, as long as it still has the same developers. So, once again, single-player action adventure. It'll play similar to Arkham Asylum, maintaining gadgets gained in the first game. Actually, some of the new gadgets that I found out are going to be in is like smoke bombs and a broadcast tracer that you can leave a tracer on somebody and then find out where they're at. Oh, actually, then like where radio signals are coming from. There's an updated detective mode, and the story takes place 1 year later. The prisons are overpopulated, and Mayor Quincy Sharp has bought a large section of Gotham slums to turn into Arkham City. The prisoners, overseen by Hugo Strange, have free reign as long as they don't try to escape, and of course things get out of hand. So basically, they just quarter off a section of the city and they let the prisoners roam free, walled in.
Yep.
And of course,
kind of like what was it, District 9, they let them have their own little, blockaded area.
One thing I know, and if you watch some of the trailers for this as well, is Two-Face kind of gains notoriety in this city, and he's going to execute Catwoman live, and that's when Batman steps in to save her. And I know, from what I read about it, Kevin Conroy actually describes it as really dark. And that's kind of cool. I'm just like, it's really going to be neat to see where they take this.
Yeah, I'm really digging how that's all going to pan out and how the open world...
I want to see what the limited edition box set, too, is. I know I don't ever buy the collector's edition, but I did buy the Arkham Asylum one. With the
I guess we should mention that, because that has a special 3D version of the game.
Yeah, does it? I thought that was the PS3 re-release.
Yeah, like the Game of the Year edition of...
I didn't buy that. I bought the collector's edition that came with the Batarang and the big box set. Which the Batarang was really chintzy. It was like... I liked the set, but it wasn't worth what it was, so...
Alright, next up here we got Batman Brave and the Bold, which is only released on Wii and the DS. And it came out in 2010, just last winter. And it was from Warner Brothers, and developed by a kind of long-time developer, kind of reputable developer, Way Forward. They did both versions, and it's based on the animated series of the same name, Batman Brave and the Bold, and has a very, like I said, alluded to earlier, kid-pleasing aesthetic vibe to it. And, I dig it too. It just doesn't, I don't write it off as, it's cartoony. It looks too... It has a kind of like Little Big Planet, like a kind of little something for everyone kind of look to it. And, game definitely harkens back to the 2D side-scroller beat-em-ups of yore. Yep. So definitely has that going for it. The Matt owns the Wii version. I have the DS version here. So the Wii version, I did look up a lot of footage of the Wii version, though, to get a good feel for it.
The Wii, dude, it looks just like you're playing the cartoon. Like...
It has a way cool dynamic cell shading and way better animations, and the cutscenes I thought looked cool too.
Yeah, it's really fun. I played it I think about 2 hours, and I heard it's really short as well. But no, man, it looks like the cartoon. Like I'd heard that in reviews, and then I played it, and I'm like, holy crap, yeah, it really does look like the cartoon. So.
Like I want, and don't write it off for being, this looks good for a
funny. Yeah.
This looks good for a Wii game. I'd say this is like a high caliber looking Xbox Live Arcade PSN looking game. Which is a step up.
This
it's
Wii
actually
game
a step
looks like
up.
A great arcade
it's
game.
A big step up because now PSN XBLA games are right up with the disc based stuff.
Yeah.
So, but also for the DS graphics, they're still impressive, but they're toned down compared to the Wii version. But Batman is also joined by DC characters on every level. So there's 2-player co-op, and on the Wii version there's 3 players. If you have your DS version of the game connected, it has a little connectivity, so you can play as the Batmite.
So Batman actually, he is in the regular version as your trainer, I guess, if you want to say he gives out hints, but. Curious to see how that works. We're going to try that out, but I guess we kind of ran out of time.
Yeah,
so.
And the Batmite is also in the DS version. There is a special Batmite mode, which is pretty much lamer. You're a lamer,
this Batmite,
weakling mode, as in you suck, which is actually what I'm playing through on the DS right now because it's incredibly hard. You lose health right away. You gain health power-ups. You unlock, XP points or whatever for as you beat levels, and you use that to upgrade your combos and better attacks, and you get better health, regeneration, and stuff like that. But you start off weak as hell, so I activated Batmite mode, infinite health, and it covers up a good chunk of the gaps, so it doesn't make it impossible to fall, but it makes it a little bit of a challenge to fall to your death, which I still managed to do. So thank God for Batmite mode. And just, it's Way Forward, really good developer. They know what they're doing. There's actually a lot of variety to the side-scrolling levels. Had a lot of fun to them, and really good boss fights, too, where you really got to use your noggin to beat them. And kind of got a quick little roll call with the cast here. We have, in the Wii version, we have Batman, Robin, Blue Beetle, Guy Gardner, Hawkman, and, of course, the connectivity with Batmite. And on the DS, we have Batman with assist co-op characters throughout various levels with Aquaman, Blue Beetle, Green Arrow, Hal Jordan, Plastic Man, and the Red Tornado. And we also have special jump-in heroes, which is just assist attack characters with Aquaman, Black Canary, Black Lightning, Booster Gold, Captain Marvel, Flash, Green Arrow, Hal Jordan, Plastic Man, Protobot, and Red Tornado. Matt's giving you the thumb up. He's like, yeah, I checked it. You got it.
Gotta do the roster.
You gotta do the roster, according to Matt. I'm gonna make sure to make it fun and add background music whenever we do
That's
this.
fine.
Alright, I'm gonna throw it to you, Matt.
Alright, man. I'm gonna do another preview game, actually. Captain America Super Soldier. It's gonna come out, I expect this summer, probably around the same time as the movie in mid-July. It's Next Level Games and Sega releasing it as well. Another third-person single-player action game based on the film. Some characters that are going to be appearing: Iron Cross, Hydra, Red Skull, and Arnim Zola. And I actually do have a date here. It's July 19th is the release for it. So I don't really know a lot about this game. Just I've seen screenshots, short video clips.
First Captain America single-player game.
Yep. Be interesting.
Too bad it's going to be a movie licensed game by Sega.
Which doesn't have a very good history with...
the last few.
Yeah.
So.
Don't have a lot to say about that, though. It does look okay. We'll see how it turns out. I have hope. But, yeah.
You're eager.
Iron Man, yeah.
You're going to run out of the movie going, I'm buying the game.
Yes.
You can call me the next
game comes
day.
out before the movie, so...
Dale, why did you make me buy this game?
This is going to be one of those I wait until it drops to $20, just like we did with Brave and the Bold.
Yes.
Which is on sale.
And Iron Man 2.
Yeah. Yes. All right.
Okay, so as next one here, Conan, 2007, published by THQ, developed by Nihilistic, if I'm pronouncing it right.
I think it's Nihilistic, but that's all right.
Nihilistic, whatever. So yeah, man, I know you're not a fan of this one. This game, I know a lot of people are not a fan of this one. If you're like me, if you played this game before you played God of War, you'll end up going, hey, this game's not bad. If you have played God of War afterward, before playing this, you probably end up going, this is a crappy-ass God of War knockoff. But, that aside, Conan, if you want background of this game, is Conan starts off his journey being knocked out after freeing an entity known as the Black Plague, which strips him of his all of his magical abilities and armor, and shortly thereafter he has to set out to recapture it all, and he's joined by a female warrior, Arcana, who is also in pursuit of Conan's armor, and so she can use the magic to stop the plague from destroying her homeland. So it's just you two out on the journey. Though it's just one player, though she kind of assists you throughout it. And this game has all sorts of gory kills, disarms, and combo counter moves, and he definitely earns his M rating. There's you rescue naked maidens throughout the whole game. So yes.
I'll wait to throw my 2 cents.
And you can upgrade. His game's very, very God of War-esque, because you can upgrade your skills and moves with XP you get, just like in God of War. And you have a fixed third-person camera, just like in God of War. And the boss fights are very, very God of War-esque, just because you got these big snakes, and I remember like a big squid, you're on a pirate ship, and there's like this big squid octopus-like creature with tentacles you gotta hack away at, and you get QTE, quick time event prompts, just like God of War, and gee, yeah. Of course, before really playing God of War, I'm just having a fun time with it. But I know I could definitely see the viewpoint from a lot of people going, yeah, this game's a cheap God of War knockoff. But I thought. That aside, it also could have used a 2-player mode and have more unlocks just to encourage replay. But from the time I had with it, I kind of am not a huge Conan fan, but I kind of grew up with it a bit because it was like my dad's favorite comic book series. I dug the universe it was set in, but won't say it's a great game, but I don't regret playing it. So Matt's. Ignore Matt's negative vibe on it.
We have a joke running with this. Is like I've tried to play this game like 3 times. I've had it for a while now, and every time I play this game, I fall asleep. And I don't fall asleep playing games, but it's like I throw Conan in. It's like 45 minutes later, I'm out, and I wake up and like Conan's just running into a corner or somewhere. or he's been killed and it's at the pause screen or something, but I don't know what it is, but I just can't play this game. Like, it is a total God of War ripoff. Just, I don't hate it, but man, I finished Ghost Rider on the PS2 before I finished this, and that's like,
saying a lot. And Ghost Rider is like a God of War inspired game.
Yes, definitely. But that's all I got to say about that. So,
I guess I could throw out a quick. I kind of wrote on here too, even though this didn't come out for PS3 or 360. They did come out for the PC around the same over the last few years here, so I felt only appropriate to include them. But the Age of Conan MMO games from
the Hyborian Adventure, yeah.
The Hyborian Adventures came out in 2008 from Eidos and Funcom, and I think it's worth mentioning too because it's the first ever M-rated MMO, complete with nudity, of course, and. Its big highlight was hyping up player versus player combat. It had a strong launch, but faded in popularity within months of users complaining of far too many early glitches and bugs, and getting way too quick to end game content. And there was supposed to be a 360 version also of it, but the early criticism actually ended up with cancellation of the 360 version of the game. And
it's really why we're mentioning it, because it was it's planned MMO on the 360 would have been a big thing as well.
But I know that the servers are still up, it's still running, and there was even an expansion released last year called Rise of the Godslayers.
Didn't it go free to play for a little bit too? Like, isn't it like a first month free? I don't know too much about it.
I don't know.
Don't quote me on that, but
it probably is free to play right now. I don't know for sure.
I thought maybe a 30-day trial type thing.
Yeah, almost all MMOs
will
give you a
30-day
free trial. But I know Chris actually, if you look back in our archives, I think Chris actually reviewed this. Actually, I'm pretty sure he did, and he was into it for about a couple months there. But then
Lotro came out.
I want to say this was before Lotro actually, but I could be wrong.
Was it before Lotro?
Yeah. I think he kind of grew bored of it within a couple of months, but I know it did win him over for a little while, but he kind of got bored of it. So, all right. Let's see.
Canceled game here.
Canceled game. Is this me or is this...
That's you, actually.
Okay.
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight, yes. Batman the Dark Knight, I guess officially the Dark Knight, because that's what the movie was called. And... kind of interesting backstory on this game. It was supposed to be put out by EA. They had the Batman license through 2008, and Pandemic was supposed to be, or was the developer, and The Dark Knight hit theaters summer 2008. Obviously, big blockbuster hit, and EA was trying to cash in on the success by getting a movie license game out, just like they did with Batman Begins.
Which was actually a pretty solid game, going back and playing it.
Yeah.
Which we talked about last show, but yeah, really surprisingly solid.
And Pandemic was the developer, and this was an open world game. And the developers at Pandemic went on to admit it was way too ambitious, and they couldn't finish the game in time. And you're thinking, all right, maybe at least get out a year later, but Eidos already had the rights to it beginning in 2009. They already had Arkham Asylum announced that it was coming out summer of 2009. It would have been impossible. And EA was trying to get them to amp up and release a broken game. And finally they realized, they're like, all right, we can't release this. This is just unacceptable. So they had to can the game literally within 3-4 months before it was supposed to come out. And so yeah, interesting story on what could have been, and kind of interesting hearing Pandemic saying, the open world genre was just not the right fit for Batman, or they didn't have the right fit for Batman. It's going to be interesting to see if Rocksteady can get it right.
Yeah, and then Asylum came out and just blew everyone away. So
yep.
Which I'm just glad they didn't put it out, because we've got enough bad Batman games out there.
Yep.
We didn't really need another one. So.
All right, I'll throw it to you, Matt.
All right, this is a game I actually recently finished. I bought it a long time ago, and I just never got around. I think I played 4 hours into it, and I just never started it. But it's The Darkness.
When did the comic book come out? I'm not too familiar with the comic of this.
God, I want to say it's a Top Cow comic, which it's been out for a while. I think it was a 90s comic. It's like the big split from Marvel, one of those guys. So I've never read the comic. I've got a couple crossovers with Marvel characters, but I've never read outside of that. So, but 2007 Starbreeze 2K Games. It's a first-person shooter with some online multiplayer. This story is based off of the comic, with players controlling Jackie Estacado. After an attempted assassination, the evil spirit known as the Darkness takes over his body, and Jackie, with newfound power, must take down his attacker while the Darkness is consuming him at the same time. It essentially plays like your standard first-person shooter. Players unlock Darkness powers throughout the game, such as Darklings, which are imps that have like various uses, like Gunner, Kamikaze, Attacker, and one that targets lights, which is a big part of the gameplay. Like, light hurts you, and it drains your power, so you want to take lights out, and it's a big part of the game. You also get a Dark Arm, which is a tentacle that like comes out and impales enemies, like kind of one-hit kills.
That's badass. I remember only play the demo of this, but I remember once you got that ability, I was just, holy crap.
At first I didn't use it, but once I started using it, I didn't stop. But
it looked wicked.
Yeah, the Darkness guns, which I really didn't use too much, it's just more powerful guns. You get a Black Hole, which is awesome. The Black Hole is this thing you put out, you can aim where you're going to put it, you throw it out, and it just sucks everything into it. Like, the enemies just go up and they die, and that's it. And use that to take out helicopters later in the game as well. You also get these two things called the Creeping Dark. And it's two, like, kind of tendrils, creature tentacle type things. And they're used for stealth attacks and opening hidden or locked areas. So, say I'm standing in a corner, I could have them drop down and sneak around the corner behind a guy, and then attack and rip out his throat, and then you eat their hearts to gain power. So the more hearts you eat, the more powers you gain. In the game, you travel through the subway to different locales based on New York. You help locals, you collect phone numbers for unlockable items. This is actually kind of a cool feature. We talked about this. You can pick up these numbers, and you can actually dial random numbers, and sometimes you get funny messages from them. And there's a guy actually... there's like secret numbers, like if you look on backgrounds like in the bathroom or the wall and you type in the numbers, there's a guy, you actually get an achievement from finding all these secret numbers. But there's TVs that are, as you're walking around, like you actually at one point where you sit down with your girlfriend and watch TV with her, and you actually watch To Kill a Mockingbird.
The whole movie's in there.
The whole movie's in there,
public domain, and they're like, all right.
And there's an achievement if you sit there and watch the movie until she falls asleep, which it's like a good 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. Like, you get an achievement for that. And it's a really cool scene in the game. It just kind of stops in the middle of everything, and you just sit with her and watch TV. It's kind of cool. But
actually watch the whole movie.
Yeah, there's 3 entire movies all together. There's a bunch of episodes of like Flash Gordon and then Popeye and Gabby cartoons, and there's like a bunch of bands and stuff that are featured in music videos. It got like really good reviews actually too when it came out. And the Darkness, a big side note too, is the Darkness was actually voiced by Mike Patton of Mr. Bungle and Faith No More, which the Creature of the Darkness voice is awesome. And like fans of Faith No More and Mr. Bungle know who Mike Patton is, but
the game is almost like 4 years old at this point. You think it still holds up?
Oh yeah, it's a pretty decent game. Outside of the graphics, I think it aged well. Like graphics kind of look, you could tell it's near launch title type graphics. But
not too bad.
No, not too shabby. But I mean, obviously, games have gotten a lot better as far as graphics go. The way he holds his guns always bothered me, though. Like when you're walking around, like he's just walking around with your arms straight ahead of you, dual wielding, and it just looks kind of silly. But you get used to that; it's pretty easy. So, pretty fun game. I want
to say I remember hearing the multiplayer seemed tacked down, though. It was like one of those games where it's like, crap, hey, there's multiplayer.
I played it for a little bit. The story's kind of cool, actually. I don't want to give too much away. Like I don't like spoilers in this, but at one point you die and you actually go to hell, and you have to wander through there and like fight. Like I don't know if they're like Nazis or what they are, but it's pretty cool. And you go and you actually fight the Darkness at one point. But I don't want to say too much about it. But it's worth picking up. I'm sure it's like dirt cheap right now too.
Yeah, so, I think I
probably under $10.
Well, I think you want probably $5. I want to say I don't remember seeing.
Yeah, if it's $5, man, like totally drop the money on it. It's worth it. So
it's the one I've been wanting to. I need to buy it still, but I think I passed up the opportunity to buy it for $5 when Hollywood Video went out of business on its clearance sale last year, and I regret it.
Yeah, it definitely. Yeah, if it's you find it for like $5, get it. It's totally worth it. So.
Okay, so that brings us to a release from earlier this year, 2011 DC Universe Online, which came out for only the PC and PlayStation 3, and Actually, I accidentally just realized I didn't get the developer and publisher information. I should have found. Do you happen to have it? SCEA. Yeah, that's right. Sony Online.
Yes.
Not SCE. They're different branches, Matt.
Sorry.
SCEA and
SOE,
Sony.
there you go.
SOE, yeah. Sony Online is.
I winged that one. Yes.
Yes.
Don't hold me accountable. I didn't know.
I owe you a Keystone Light.
Zima.
The new Steve Weiser. Alright, but no, this game is actually kind of noteworthy because it's the third ever MMO to be released on a console behind EverQuest Online Adventures on PS2 and Final Fantasy XI on PS2 and 360. And so this is like the third true MMO to be released on consoles. So, though unlike Final Fantasy XI, the servers are from the PS3 and PC versions are separate. So pretty much the deal with this game is, unfortunately can't play as the DC characters. It's kind of like a City of Heroes, City of Villains, where you get to create a hero. And they can be leveled up in order to learn new skills and powers. Jim Lee was a very integral part of the development process. He lent a lot of his knowledge to this game. Players can fight as their created hero alongside the DC staples, Batman, Superman, and a ton of others I'll get into here in a little bit. A big cast. It's an MMO, so you expect a ton of DC heroes and villains. You get them.
I'm making Dale read this one.
Curse you, Matt.
This is Dale's first roster. This is your first big one, too, isn't it?
I think I went through one of the MVC games last episode. I can't remember. But, there's also big locales you'll fight in from the DC universe you'll recognize, like Gotham, Metropolis, Smallville, and the Batcave, to name a few, among many, many more. So the backstory for this game is, in the future, Lex Luthor, he finally triumphs over the Justice League. If you guys remember that awesome CG trailer hyping up this game, that kind of gives you a hint of the story where you see just Lex Luthor killing off the Justice League or emerging victorious over them. And Superman is defeated after a massive battle that destroys most of Metropolis and numerous other metahumans, but his success was largely due to the machines of the Brainiac, who slowly was draining Earth's protectors of their powers and eventually destroyed all of Earth. Conquered all of Earth, not destroyed it.
You got to watch that trailer though. That if you guys haven't seen that yet, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Probably the best CG I've seen in a long time for anything. Honestly, it's really good stuff.
Story gets a little kooky after this. Anyways, the future Lex. We're now in the future. He time travels back to the present to tells the Justice League their upcoming fate. Like, hey, watch out. This is what the future has in store. And he has a plan to avert it. And he wants to release nanites created from the powers of the heroes in the future by Brainiac. And he infects much of the population of Earth with new superpowers, i.e. your new created superhero, to swell the ranks of the metahumans for the upcoming Brainiac invasion. So you escape one of Brainiac's harvester ships with the help of either Oracle or Superman, and go on to be mentored by the Justice League. And this is where you fight your quests alongside the DC heroes and villains. And your mentor, if you're a hero, your mentor will be either Superman, Wonder Woman, or Batman. But if you're a villain, your mentor will be Lex Luthor, Serki, or the Joker. You also begin the game in your mentor's respective home turf, Metropolis, if Superman, and the battle between good and evil, heightened by the influx of the metas, will rage on every street corner. So here's the crazy-ass cast that appears in the game. If you guys are bored by long-ass cast lists, literally fast-forward a good 2 or 3 minutes. And
I'm excited about this deal.
In the meanwhile, I'm going to try and make this entertaining. So what says you, Capcom? Do you? Alright, so for the Heroes cast, and oh yeah, by the way, I'm not a big DC nut, so I may mispronounce some of these lesser-known characters. So the Heroes cast We have Ambush Bug, Animal Man, Aquaman, Atom, Batgirl, Batman, Batwoman, Beast Boy, Black Canary, Black Lightning. Wait, where was I? Booster Gold, Captain Atom, Captain Marvel, Cyborg, Dr. Fate, Donna Troy, Etrigan the Demon, Firestorm, Flash 1, Flash 2, Green Arrow, Green Lantern 1, Green Lantern 2, Green Lantern 4. There is no Green Lantern 3 in this one. Fucking DC and their multiple universes. Oh wait, no. we need a new song. Alright, we need a new song. Alright. Alright, where was I? Hawkgirl, Hawkman, Huntress, Kilowog, Martian Manhunter.
That's the same guy.
That's what I meant. I didn't have a comment. I had two spaces. It fucked me up. Martian Manhunter, Nightwing, Oracle, Power Girl, Question, Raven, Red Tornado, Robin, Spectre, Starfire, Steel, Supergirl, Superman, Wildcat, Wonder Girl, Wonder Woman, Zatanna. Alright, fuck. Villains roster. Wait. Let me get a drink of the people's water. I gotta get the vocals ready for this, Matt.
Dale's roster break.
Roster break. That's right, Capcom. We will persevere. Alright, villains roster. Arquilo, Bane, Bizarro, Brain, Brainiac, Brother Blood, Calculator. There's really a fucking villain named Calculator. Have you heard of this villain, Matt?
He gives you the wrong answers on your homework.
Really?
No, I don't know.
Captain Boomerang. Really?
Yes.
Really? Yes. Have you heard of Captain Boomerang?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
What comic is he in?
DC.
Do you know what...
I know he has a figure. I've seen his figure.
What villain is he a regular of?
I don't know.
Captain Cold.
That's, the Flash.
Oh.
What's up?
I'm going to quiz you on these. Catwoman.
Come on, it's easy.
Who's Catwoman, Matt? Really?
Batman.
Really?
Cena Kyle, what's up?
Okay,
come on.
I'm sorry. Chang Zhu. Who's that? Cheetah. Chimo. Serky. Clayface. Deathstroke. Dr. Psycho. Doomsday. Eclipso. Felix Faust. Giganta. Gorilla Grodd. Who's Gorilla Grodd from, Matt?
Gorilla Grodd. That's a Titans villain, if I want to say. I'll show you who he is. I have a
Hive. Harley Quinn. Heatwave. Hush. Isis. Joker. Killer Croc. Killer Frost. Kyle Abbott. Lex Luthor. Livewire. Monsway. Mala. Mad Hatter. Manhunters. Major Force. Metallo. Mirror Master. Who's Mirror Master from, Matt? Monswar, Mala, Mr. Freeze.
You already said these.
Fuck you. Mr. Mixie Plitic. Who's that from, Matt?
Superman.
Fucking names, no vowels. Parasite, Penguin, Poison Ivy, Professor Zoom, Queen Bee, Query and Echo, Razagul, Riddler, Scarecrow, Sinestro, Solomon Grundy. Who's that from, Matt?
Solomon Grundy's Superman. Born on a Monday.
Talia Al Ghul. Sponsored by Ragu. Tattooed Man.
Oh. No.
Toy Man. Who's Toy Man from?
Batman, I want to say?
I don't believe you. Trigon. Batman. Who's that from?
He's a demon, and I don't know, but I have a figure of him.
Two-Face.
That's Batman.
Too long of a pause.
That's alright.
Ultra Humanite. Who's that from?
I don't know.
Ursa. And finally, Veronica Cale. Who's that from?
I don't know either. I'm not a DC. I'm a Marvel guy.
You call yourself a comic book
I'm a Marvel guy.
Matt.
I'm sorry.
You suck.
I have toys for a lot of these characters, and I don't know.
Alright, there's your fucking cast.
That was awesome, Dale.
$15 a month. Alright, Matt, back to you.
You're like, I'll read this for $15, you know. Alright, and after that, I got a great game. Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer, which we covered last gen. So we're going to skip over it. All I'm going to say about this is it's got poor graphics for this generation.
Yeah, I played the 360 version. It does look like a PS2 game.
Yeah, that's basically the only difference between this and the PS2 version is the slightly better graphics. I don't know, but That is literally all I'm going to cover
on that because we did talk about it more in depth last show. So.
The small boy did nothing but gaze at the filth on the streets, getting into a craze. Those days are gone and he's ready to rock, and those that he hates are in for a shock. Oh, he's growing so much, so strong. He's gonna get himself some justice. And what will come of those who cross his path?
With that, I'll throw it back to you with a game that's not out yet.
Yes, Green Lantern: Rise of the Manhunters. I guess we could say it'll be the first ever Green Lantern starring game. You're the Green Lantern, based off the movie, of course, coming out this summer or alongside the movie. On the PS3, 360, and Wii, and all platforms actually, with handhelds and everything. And Warner Brothers is publishing it, and Double Helix is developing it. This game was just announced at the last San Diego Comic-Con, and the developers also made a previous comic book licensed movie game, G.I. Joe. So expect greatness. Actually, I heard some decent things about that G.I. Joe game. I've heard it was some pretty bad things. I also heard some decent things about it too. But no, pretty much just what I heard that game. That game actually had some more development time. It wasn't rushed release alongside the movie. It could have been a great game.
You need to look at it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll rent it if we can find a rental place.
We'll have to check out Blockbuster after this, see if they're still open, because they're having that closing
Yeah, where are we
sale.
going to rent games from?
One of the Blockbusters is still open.
Oh, okay.
The one on Washington.
We should half it, because I think it's like $10 to rent a game now.
Well, everything's half off, or last time maybe everything's 75% off. So maybe I'll buy G.I. Joe and
we'll find out today. Maybe we'll give you guys a late game if you want G.I. Joe.
And the dark. I'll give the darkness $250. Yes. All right, but this game will feature all systems. Well, at least the 3DS, PS3, and 360 will have 3D graphics, either through bundled glasses.
PS3 won't?
No, they will.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Either it'll be actual true 3D graphics on 3D TV displays on the PS3 or on the 3DS, or just included glasses in the 360 version, like they did with the Batman.
Oh no,
it's something.
Oh.
But Ryan Reynolds, he's providing his voice and his likeness for the game also. So they are going the full mile to get the actual major players in the game. But in this, it follows the same storyline of the movie, and, if you probably haven't seen a trailer already, quick cliff notes of the movie is that, the Manhunters are an android race created by the Guardians of the Universe to serve as the first interstellar police force, but Manhunters became too obsessed with getting more punishment than serving justice, so the Guardians dissolved the ranks, and the few Manhunters that survived fled into exile, and the Guardians became a new force called the Green Lantern Corps and armed its members with special powered rings, and Hal Jordan, that's the name I was looking for, stumbled upon one of these rings, or I guess the actual Green Lantern.
Him.
Yeah,
it shows him. Yes.
And he ended up absorbing their powers, and now he must preserve justice in the name of the Green Lantern Corps. And in this game, you can play in co-op with Hal as Sinestro, with instant drop-in, drop-out co-op play, which should be cool. Hopefully. And besides, kind of third-person ground combat, where Hal can use his ring to create Gatling guns and giant fists.
That's gonna be interesting. Not to cut you off there, but considering he can create anything he wants with this ring, I wonder how badly the game is gonna limit you to what you can create with it.
From what I looked up here, you can create Gatling guns and giant fists.
So, two things.
So far.
That's probably gonna be it.
But I also found out there's going to be also air combat. It's going to be a huge role in the game, so maybe half ground combat, half air combat, so who knows how that'll play out. We can hope for at least it'll be as good as Iron Man.
We'll talk about that.
We'll get there. So, that's all I have in the game. Be on the lookout for it this summer. Movie license greatness.
Maybe we'll throw a review out there later on. I'm sure I'll pick it up eventually.
Oh, yeah. So, man, I'm going to throw to you off another game that came off on the hotness of another movie license.
Which, it's kind of based on the movie, actually. It's Hellboy: The Signs of Evil. Came out in 2008 by the now defunct Chrome Studios and Konami.
Oh, yeah.
It was a multiplayer action game. It's a one-player game with co-op, and there's also multiplayer co-op, which is... I don't know if I want to play it again. But anyways... That's a third-person style gameplay, and the playable characters are Hellboy for the main character, and then with co-op, Liz Sherman, Abe Sapien, and Lobster Johnson. Cast from the film reprises their roles, with Bruce Campbell voicing Lobster Johnson, which is actually kind of cool. And The Signs of Evil follows...
Wait, Bruce Campbell?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell does a voice for it, so that's always good.
Ron Perlman voicing Hellboy?
Yes.
Yes!
Original cast, I said. Come on, Dale.
Wait. Ron Perlman, right?
Yes.
Wait. Rod Perlman?
Yes.
Is it better than the PS1 game?
By far.
All right. I'm in.
The Signs of Evil follows the film and comic being created under the supervision of both Mike Mignola and Guillermo del Toro. And the game consists of 6 chapters, which we kind of talked about this when I was playing through. But you start on Romania. Basically, Hellboy's sent after a witch. While he's on her trail, you uncover a plot by the Nazis that's led by Herman von Klempt.
Of course, Nazis.
It's always those damn Nazis. But basically, you just have to stop the Nazis after you realize their plot, because it's what else would they be plotting but world domination? So, weapons include the Samaritan, which can fire different ammo types, and that's like where a lot of the gameplay comes from, is having different types of ammo. And of course, you get the right-handed Doom. The reception was really poor, actually, citing repetition in graphics. Like the graphics, I guess, were kind of low end for that game. And I mean, honestly, as I was playing it, I was like, oh, this is kind of boring, but I want to finish it, because it's not really that long of a game.
This kind of just felt like a chore after a while.
Yeah, I didn't hate the game. Actually, it was like, after playing the PS1, it's actually really good in comparison to that. But I won't say it's a great game by any means. I didn't hate it. It just got boring after a while. I don't have a lot to say about it. I haven't done any of the co-op. I don't know if I'm going to.
It's one of the few games where there isn't a full disc games where there's not a full 1,000 gamer score.
You were telling me about that. Yep.
Yeah. There was supposed to be some DLC, but it never came out.
Yeah. Oh well. Throw it back to you now.
This next game here is another movie license game. I only briefly played it, but I know you beat it, Matt.
Yes.
The Incredible Hulk, based off the Edward Norton Hulk movie from 2008 on PS3 and 360 from Sega and Edge of Reality. And Bruce Banner's kind of follows the plot of the movie. From what I looked up, I don't know, Matt, you could probably vouch for this, where Banner was tracked down to South America by Emo Blonsky and his troops.
Yep. And
the pursuit goes all the way back to New York. And the game plays like Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction, kind of.
It's almost exactly like it if you take the desert mission.
You can tell that's where it's a big inspiration anyways.
Yeah.
And because of its free roam gameplay and similar controls and upgrades, upgrade your attacks, like the car fists and and I love that car fist attack. Yes. But for main enemies in the game we have the Abomination.
The UFOs.
That's what I got, yeah, UFOs.
Yep, the UFOs.
What are the UFOs?
I don't know much about the UFOs. I just know that's a horrible, horrible name.
Is it as bad as his next enemy? The Bi-Beast?
The Bi-Beast. Oh, that's a great joke. Oh, the Bi-Beast. He goes both ways. That's so simple, I'm sorry.
The Enclave, not the Fallout Enclave.
Oh.
The Hulk Enclave.
Yes.
The United States Army led by General Thunderbolt Ross and Major Glenn Talbot. A significant feature. I don't know why I rate this a significant feature. I don't. But the people from the movie reprise their roles: Edward Norton, Tim Roth, Liv Tyler, William Hurt, Tim Blake Nelson, all reprise their roles from the movie. Playable characters: we have the Incredible Hulk, the Red Hulk, which is a 360 GameStop exclusive. War Hulk, which is a PS3 exclusive. And Joe Fixit, which is a 360 exclusive. Unlockable characters include Classic Hulk, Grey Hulk, Abomination, Ironclad, Hulkbuster, Iron Man.
You actually got the Hulkbuster suit if you had an Iron Man save on your system.
Ah, okay.
which I did, and I still didn't get the suit, which I'm angry about.
Maestro and Professor Hulk.
Yes.
Braids. So, man, I remember watching you play it a little bit.
I can sum this up really easily.
Better than Ultimate Destruction?
Nope. It's just I don't want to say it's like a poor Ultimate Destruction clone, and it cuts out some of the good features. The only good thing is it has better graphics. I will give it that it has better graphics, but for some reason, Ultimate Destruction played better to me. This is another one of those ones. If you liked Ultimate Destruction, it's worth picking up because it's dirt cheap now. I bought it when it came out. I was like, hey, this looks like Ultimate Destruction. I can't wait to play it, and I played it, and something didn't just sit right with me.
Well, I remember from Ultimate Destruction that, that sense of destruction was all over and you had nonstop speed. It seemed like you could have just gone and just had the whole world just to kill at your own pace. But just from the little bit watching you play Incredible Hulk, I had the feeling that that sense of speed wasn't there. There's still destruction, but it was more methodical, it seemed.
Yeah, it was a little watered down, if you want to put it that way. But it's still a decent game, definitely a decent game. So take for that for what you will. And if you're a Hulk fan, it's worth picking up. So.
Well, Matt, I believe we have another Sega movie license game here.
Yes. All right, I got this deal. All right.
Do you?
A lot of people are excited about us doing this one. I know we've had a couple questions about it, I think, in the past. But people talking about us having to play this one. And I think, did you play them both?
I played the demo of the first one, and I just beat the second one in prep for this a few weeks ago.
I finished both of them, Dale. So, Iron Man, in 2008, Secret Level Sega.
I like how you said Iron Man.
It's a single-player action game based on the film with Robert Downey Jr., Terrence Howard, and Sean Taub reprising their roles. The story is similar to the film, the exception being Iron Man tracks down terrorist groups using his weapons and destroys them, kind of filler for the game. Outside of the movie, the characters that appear are AIM, kind of like the organization AIM, Backlash, the Controller, Titanium Man, Melter, and Ironmonger also make appearances, like I said. Black Widow and Iron Fist are mentioned as well. The controls are responsive, but flight takes some time to get used to. And that's a lot of what I hear about is if you just throw it in, it's horrible when you first play, but once you pick up the controls, which takes quite a while, oddly enough, it's all right. The suit graphics are quite good, but everything else is bland. And I will say that in the second one, it seems like the same thing in the second one. Like, they spent a lot of time on the suits, but just the environments are looking so. Combat gets really old. Yeah. Like, combat, I found myself sitting as far away as I could from things, just hitting them with my repulsor blasts. Or missiles or whatever I had, because you can put your reticles on them to stay far back so you don't get hit, which is probably the easiest way to play it. Normal thing that you would expect in this game, you can unlock suits. You're talking classic suit, War Machine. I think Hulkbuster in the first one, I'm not sure. I think it's in the second one. You can unlock suits. Bad reviews, very bad reviews. Voted the worst game that everyone played in 2008 by GameStop. And I found this better.
You mean GameSpot?
Yeah, I'm sorry. GameSpot, yes.
GameStop's like, hey, we're sorry you guys bought this game.
Don't buy this. Actually, I think I did have a guy tell me not to buy it. Like, I bought Catwoman and Iron Man in the same day, and then somebody was like, you should really not buy these, dude. And I'm like, I gotta do it for the show,
that knows
buddy.
what they're talking about.
He gets fired. No.
How dare you?
I honestly, I was really terrified of playing this, and I had played the demo, and I was like, I don't want to play this game.
Yeah, demo scared me away, too.
Going into it, I actually found it to be a lot better than I thought it would. But, I mean, when you expect nothing and you get something, what are you going to say? So, I'm going to throw it over to you for number 2, and I got a little bit of 2 cents on that.
I beat this one, and much like how you described, I don't remember, but as far as being a chore to finish, that's what I felt like Iron Man 2. I pretty much set the pace where I was like, all right, a level or two. It was like 2 levels a day. And I remember this game was a $60 game when it came out, and I just felt bad for the people that paid $60 for this because it's only an 8-level game, and I think it only took me like 5 hours to finish.
Yeah, no, we waited until it dropped down to like $20.
Of course, I was playing on easy, but I wouldn't want it any other way for playing through this crap. But,
dude, I would never play it. It's brutal at sections.
Yeah. Well, I guess I don't want to say it's absolute crap, horrible, but there are a few little bright spots, but for the most part, it felt like a chore. But like the first game was released alongside the movie, but it actually has it's like its own separate. It has nothing to do with the movie, other than like some of the characters from the movie reprising the roles. But it has its own unique actual plot, which is one of the few cool things about it. But you got Don Cheadle reprising the role of Rhodey, Samuel L. Jackson reprising the role of Nick Fury, and Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow as Iron Man, and Pepper Potts, and then other chick from The Shield. I forgot to write down her name.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's the chick who was in Shield from Iron Man 2. What's her name?
Black Widow?
Yeah, she reprises her role.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. The other hot chick. I couldn't remember her name.
I know you talked about this. You said like you like the cutscenes and stuff with their faces, dude. I hated their faces.
I thought the cutscenes were cool.
Like look better than the first one type thing, but
yeah, the cutscenes I thought were kind of cool. I wouldn't say 5-star graphics, but I remember just going, okay, this is a little better than what I was expected coming in. And I thought for the original story, we have there's no Whiplash with no Mickey Rourke, unfortunately, but instead his main adversary is Ultimo, a rogue AI stolen from Iron Man's AI, Jarvis, stolen from his code, and
which is awful by comic continuity.
Yes.
So
I have no idea how the actual comic goes.
Oh god.
In relation, but I remember watching, going, okay, this is kind of cool, but it kind of all leads to a big epics in scale boss battle with Jarvis at the end, which I remember just looking at him and going like, all right, this actually looks cool. It actually looks like some effort was put into, having an awesome final boss fight, but it kind of played poorly because I don't want to get into it.
It was really repetitive.
Yeah.
Like, really repetitive.
But I remember thinking, like, this kind of sucks playing, but this at least looks cool.
This is better than the rest of the game.
It's better than the rest of the game. But just like you said, how the combat got repetitive, flying combat got repetitive, you could upgrade attacks in between missions, but it felt pointless.
I did. It does help towards the end, yeah.
I was. It didn't feel like it was making too much of a difference for me, but maybe it was. I just wasn't really paying attention.
Swap suits out, too.
Yeah, you can unlock suits, but like some missions, you had no choice but to play as suits for certain missions.
You do have to. I don't know if you wrote this down either, but you switch between Iron Man and War Machine for some missions as well. So. Yep,
I got them down here. You play as Iron Man and War Machine with Crimson Dynamo and Ultimo as your main adversaries, and Natasha Romanoff, that's her name, the Shield agent.
Yep, Black Widow.
Black Widow, Natasha. Pepper Potts, Nick Fury, Valentin Shatilov.
I don't even know what you wrote. So yeah.
I'm writing. This is a cast, man. I wrote it down from the instruction manual. And Carson DeWitt. Those are the main characters in the story. And the second I finished this game, I traded it into GameStop.
Like, I'm going to keep mine because I'm going to play it again someday.
Yep.
That's it. No, I don't trade anything in, so... I guess the only thing I really got to throw in is I actually preferred the Flight in 1 more. It may have been more complicated to learn, but it just played better. And I hated the faces in the cutscenes. Like, the characters just looked like they were dead. They looked dead, and their eyes were glossy and bloated. And it terrified me.
Oh, I guess one other thing worth mentioning was even though Robert Downey Jr. lent his likeness, they had some other guy do his voice because
we're watching the cartoon
credits. So I was like, oh, this sounds like him, but it isn't Robert Downey Jr. So there you go. I didn't get his name, so there you go.
All right. So off with that terribleness, but I did play both of them. First one's actually surprisingly better than the second one. I wish you'd give it a shot.
Don't play either of them.
No, for what I was expecting, like I said, I had the lowest expectations you could have going into this. I thought the first one's all right. But that's not great by any standards. So with that, I'll jump into another great game, Kick-Ass, 2010, Frozen Codebase, WHA Entertainment. It is a 2-player beat-em-up that was released exclusively on the PlayStation Network. It's based on the movie. The only exception is that all 3 heroes are together at the start.
So does the game live up to its name?
Well, I'll finish. Chloe Moretz and Aaron Johnson reprise their roles. You play as Kick-Ass, Hit Girl, or Big Daddy. I'm just going to go out. It's better as a co-op game. I played it on single player, and it is terrible as a single player game. Better as co-op. Really bad reviews, and it is just an awful game. I did not like it. You can collect comics in each level. There's only 8 levels. I know you've played through some of it.
I played I want to say 2 or 3 levels. I hated it in single player.
Single player, I couldn't.
It's unplayable.
you start out in an alleyway and 3 or 4 guys will attack you and just get killed. Like, I just got killed. I could not get past the first 3 or 4 guys attacking me. Put it on co-op. I got past them. I slowly started to get better. But, like, it's almost broken as a single-player game. Unless you're really good at it, I guess. I don't discredit it. Maybe some people are going to have to get past that, but I could not do it. So, it came out for $15. It was a waste of money.
Yes.
I regret buying it.
I regret it.
Yeah, thank you.
That's how bad it is. I'm sorry.
No, it just was terrible. Like, I probably will end up finishing it. It doesn't take long to beat, but I'm struggling to want to do that. So, just scratch that one for the records if you want. So, with that, I'll throw it over to an awesome game.
Yeah, alright.
One of the few games I got a 1,000 gamer score.
This is the only Lego game. Well, I guess I played like the original Lego Star Wars, but this is the only other Lego game I played. Lego Batman, and this came out in 2008 from Warner Brothers and Traveler's Tales for this generation consoles on, I think it's 360, PS3, and Wii. But yeah, this is the only Lego game I actually own. It seems like they release them all the time, and Batman's the only license I've ever seemed to be really interested in. That of all the other ones they released it on, so I was like, all right, I'll get this one. Quick sidebar, Matt. Are you going to end up getting Lego Pirates?
Danielle wants to play it, so yeah, I probably will.
Cool. All right.
That's my wife, by the way. I guess I've never mentioned her name. I try not to. I'm sorry.
I'll put a Batman sound effect in censor it.
No, she doesn't care. No, we've actually played all of them. This one's probably one of my favorites outside of the complete Star Wars saga.
So I played some of this. I like I said, I have it. I only got I think I only beat just a few levels, but the story for this game is 15 of Batman's foes escaped from Arkham Asylum and are back raiding Gotham, so now Batman and Robin have to put them back in their place. So, like the previous Lego games, up to 2 players go around battling bad guys and solving a lot of puzzles and collecting studs and unlocking characters along the way. And it's pretty cool. You got the Batcave, just kind of like in Brave and the Bold, as a hub to select worlds and view your unlocks and stuff.
There's 2 hubs.
Oh, okay.
You kind of switch between the Batcave and then I think it's Arkham, actually. You could switch between the 2. So.
Vehicles also play a big part in this. There's a lot of vehicle levels with the Batmobile, the Batboat, and the Batwing. I just like saying like Batmobile, Batboat, Batwing. So, I can, unfortunately, I didn't hate this game, but I think it's just part of me. I could just never really get into the Lego.
Did you play it single player?
I played 2-player with Joey, my bro.
We'll have to play a 2-player one day, dude. It's fun.
I could just never really get into the Lego games. We gave it a few tries too. I didn't hate it, but I just kind of got bored playing them, to tell you the truth. I guess one gripe I did have was the camera panning a bit too far out in co-op mode. And it kind of made some of the puzzles a little difficult, and I kind of found myself just kind of jumping off cliffs the wrong way and mistiming a lot of jumps just because the camera seemed to get in the way, and I guess it just felt to get a little repetitive for me to just kind of do the same thing, but part of me feels I didn't really give the game a fair shot. But I did dig the humor and the aesthetic, and I just love the look to it, and the Lego cutscenes, kind of cutesy funny. So so there's 15 villains in the game that are also playable. That's a cool thing. The Lego games unlock a lot of characters, make it great replay value. So 15 playable villains. We have Riddler, Clayface, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, Two-Face, Penguin, Catwoman, Bane, Man-Bat, Killer Croc, Joker, Mad Hatter, Scarecrow, Killer Moth, and Harley Quinn. And I guess I just kind of threw this out here that the DS version has some exclusive characters, and they have the DS exclusive ones are Killer Moth, Man-Bat, Dr. Hugo Strange, Mr. Zaz, Black Mask, Firefly, Scarface, and the Ventriloquist, Ra's al Ghul, Hush, and the Tropical Suit Joker. That's what it says, Tropical Suit Joker.
I'm curious about the DS one, because that actually has some cool exclusives, but I hear the Lego games on the DS are never quite as good.
But Matt, you said it's one of the few games you have 1,000 gamer score. What are the things that made it stand out to you?
Well, I guess, to put it in a way, you're either a fan of the Lego games or you're not. You don't seem like you're a fan of them. You don't seem that interested in them.
Yeah, they haven't won me over.
Yeah, as far as the Lego games go, like I said, this and the Star Wars The Complete, where they combine 1 and 2, are probably the two of the best out there. So if you are a fan of the Lego games, this one's worth owning. The other thing is, if you like Batman, for all the characters that appear in it, it's pretty funny. Like, the cutscenes are funny. It's nice to play as all the characters. It's just got a fun story to it, and I think it's a good all ages game. And I had a lot of fun playing through it on co-op, and my wife's played through it actually like twice now, completely through, and unlocked everything with a friend. So it's a really good game. I enjoyed it. So, but that's like, once again, if you're a fan of Lego games, you're gonna love it. If you're not a fan of Lego games, you're probably not gonna like it. So that's all I got to throw out there on that. So,
all right. Next up here, we have another canceled game.
What?
I think the way it alphabetizes may be a little off.
Yeah, I got one actually in between.
Do you want one else, or should I just go ahead?
Oh, I got one after Lego Batman before you're canceled.
All right, go
ahead. It's not an actual game; it's DLC. So.
Oh yeah.
It's a little Big Planet, the Marvel DLC patch. It actually consists of 4 levels, which I played through them. They're actually really fun. There's a lot of tools you can unlock, so all the little Big Planet fans out there, it's actually a blast to play the Marvel stuff. There's 5 character packs, or 4 character packs. They had 5 characters each. It is Thing, Doc Ock, Daredevil, Human Torch, Ghost Rider, Captain America, Invisible Woman, Venom, Hulk, Punisher, Iron Man, Mystique, Spider-Man, Elektra, Thor, Wolverine, Rogue, Green Goblin, Magneto, and Storm. And if you like Little Big Planet and you like Marvel, definitely worth picking up. I had a lot of fun with this. And I really don't have much else on that, other than if you have Little Big Planet and you like Marvel, you should have got it already. So,
the fact that it's Little Big Planet, you could probably do a search with Marvel. You could probably find all kind of crazy fan creations, probably.
Yep. Oh yeah, the game's fun as hell. So, then I'll throw it back to you for your
canceled game. All right, so last episode, you guys may remember we talked about the ever so awesome fighting action game that was Marvel Nemesis: Rise of the Imperfects. Well, believe it or not, there was supposed to be a sequel titled tentatively titled Marvel Nemesis Armageddon. But unfortunately it did not see the light of day. The game ended up getting canceled. It was supposed to come out in 2008 by Electronic Arts, and it was supposed to be developed by EA Chicago. And I think we talked a little bit about this before. The game was actually, I do remember watching the episode of GTTV, or it may have been still called Gamehead back.
I actually watched that. That's one of the few episodes I watched too. I saw gameplay footage.
Yeah, before GTTV was called Gamehead for a couple of seasons, and Jeff Keighley interviewed the developers at EA Chicago, and it looked like it was following the same kind of gameplay style as the first Marvel Nemesis, where you were kind of fighting in like a 3D plane area, like a room, and it kind of looked like it had branching areas. Like I remember, like the characters doing like the super punch, where it punched them up into the air and like through the window into another building.
Well, I remember specifically Captain America and Spider-Man fighting in front of a courthouse.
Yeah,
and it looked really cool actually in comparison to Nemesis 1.
And well, EA Chicago, they developed Def Jam Icon, and that game kind of had some very particular or unique animations to how characters were kind of like moved around and were kind of thrown about, and they kind of reminded me of the same animations. But unfortunately for EA Chicago, Def Jam Icon was a commercial and critical flop, and so EA kind of was like, hey, EA Chicago, you screwed us over. We're going to cancel this game on you. So, yeah, unfortunately the game did not see the light of day. I'm sure you could probably YouTube the Gamehead episode or GTTV episode.
Or just search for Marvel Nemesis too. Yeah,
you can probably find it, see what this game was supposed to be. But, so with that, Matt, I'll throw it to you.
Alright, next we got Marvel Pinball 2010, a Zen release actually. Yes. That's a multiplayer pinball game, if you didn't catch the title there. It was a standalone game on the PlayStation Network, and it was actually DLC for Pinball Effects 2. The 4 tables so far are Blade, Iron Man, Wolverine, and Spider-Man, and Zen says the tables based off of Civil War and Dark Siege storyline are coming out. And voting for the next table actually just concluded. There's going to be another character table out. I don't know when. The news is kind of sporadic from the website, but whenever it gets out there, we'll throw it out. But positive reviews, and well, we're both fans. So.
Yes, great stuff.
Hey, what are you playing this week? Pinball Effects. Yeah,
I did actually play. I didn't mention what we've been playing. I did play it quite a bit this last week. I came
play
close.
Pinball Effects every week. I haven't been playing lately.
Came close to beating my Iron Man high score. I was within like 700,000. I was on my second ball. I'm oh sweet, I'm gonna do this, and then I lost like 2 balls within like a minute. I was pissed.
Man.
Pissed.
There's not much to say about Marvel Pinball. It's pinball. I mean, they're fun. I mean, they're definitely fun. The themes are really nice. So
And each table, I don't know if you got the 4 characters they're themed on.
yeah, I put down Blade, Iron Man, Wolverine, and Spider-Man. So yeah, Blade you fight like Deacon Frost. Iron Man you have Whiplash, Crimson Dynamo, Mandarin. Wolverine is Silver Samurai,
Sabretooth,
and Hand Ninjas, I want to say. And then Spider-Man you get Mysterio, Green Goblin, and Doc Ock is the other one. So
and they make great use of the villains.
yeah, like they're on the table at all times, and like they kind of involved in a lot of the mini games on there. So a lot of fun.
Have really cool animations and sound effects.
So, and not much to say about it. It's a pinball game, so awesome pinball
buy
game.
it.
But yeah.
Buy it.
All right, this is the easy one for you, Dale.
All right. Well, we covered this last episode, but we'll mention it here just to mention it, and a couple other quick things about it. But Marvel Ultimate Alliance on PS3, 360, and Wii by Activision and Raven in 2006. And we did already review this on the last episode, but it was released this generation as well. And like I said, I beat it on the 360. It was the version I finally got around to beating it on. And wasn't too much different other than some exclusive downloadable characters on the 360, which had Cyclops, Hulk, Hawkeye, Nightcrawler, Doctor Doom, Magneto, Sabretooth, and Venom. And so that's a cool, nice little DLC bonus for the. And I think that got taken down, right? Or was that?
No, that was the gold edition that came out
okay.
as. That's the Ultimate Alliance 2 actually got taken down. But if
Oh,
you bought the
okay.
gold edition on 360, which I think every edition was the gold edition, but yeah, basically the only difference between the two systems is the exclusive characters and better graphics.
Yeah,
more or less. That's
and
all it comes down
and
to.
even from playing, so many different versions of it, I don't think there was that major of a difference in
Oh, no,
graphics.
it was a cutscene. It's just the HD
Yeah.
resolution was a lot better. I've played and beaten both versions, and it's just graphics is what it comes down to. So, and with that, I'll actually jump into Ultimate Alliance 2 by 2009 Vicarious Visions instead of Ravensoft, and then Activision released as well. But once again, it's a multiplayer action RPG. It plays very similar to the first, with an emphasis on combining powers. Game was originally subtitled Fusion because of that. I mean, they made a big push to show off like the superheroes combining powers, like fusion attacks. I didn't really care about the fusion attacks. It was cool, but you could really kind of do that. I mean, like if you say Human Torch and Storm teamed up, you can make a tornado that was on fire.
There was a couple I found to exploit against some bosses, which worked really, really.
Yep. I mean, they're an integral part of the game, but yeah, I get it. But the story is based around a loose mixture of 2004's Secret Wars and 2006 Civil War storyline. I'm not going to really go into all what happened to those. I will say it is really loose on the Civil War storyline. I really actually kind of disappointed with how that turned out. But
yeah, 1/3 Secret Wars, 1/3 Civil War, 1/3 shit. We don't know how to finish this. Let's make it up.
Yep. Yeah. Basically, the players are given the choice of choosing either pro or anti-registration side. Different characters are playable depending on which side you choose. Your first area, you're pretty much stuck with like the Wolverine, Captain America, Spider-Man, Iron Man. Is that the 4?
I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It's been a while since I played it, but then you give it a choice of whether you want to register or not. That you get a group of heroes based on that, and then at the end you can pretty much play there as anybody. This is playable characters for the playable roster, and this is across all systems because there was some exclusive to the DS and whatnot, but. All right, Dale, here we go. Here's the roster for Ultimate Alliance 2. Captain America, Daredevil, Deadpool, Gambit, Green Goblin, Hulk, Human Torch, Iceman, Invisible Woman, Iron Man, Jean Grey, Luke Cage, Mr. Fantastic, Miss Marvel, Nick Fury, Penance, Songbird, Spider-Man, Storm, Thing, Thor, Wolverine, Venom, Black Panther, Blade, Cable, Carnage, Cyclops, Iron Fist, Juggernaut, Magneto, Psylocke, Sentry, and She-Hulk. Common bosses you'll be fighting in the game are A-Boss, Absorbing Man, Colossus actually as a boss, Bullseye, Diamondback, Electro, Equinox, Firestar, Grey Gargoyle, Grim Reaper, Havoc, Justice, Lucia von Bardis, Lizard, Magneto, Man-Ape, Molten Man, Moonstone, Nanite Nick Fury, Quicksilver, oh no, Radioactive Man, Scorpion, Scorcher, She-Hulk, Shocker, Spider-Woman, Tinkerer, Titanium Man, Whirlwind, Winter Soldier, Wizard, Wonder Man. And they're the anti-registration bosses. Bishop, Black Widow, Bullseye, Lady Deathstrike, Molten Man, Multiple Man, She-Hulk, War Machine, Wonder Man, Yellow Jacket. And then the pro-registration bosses of Cable, Cloak, Dagger, Goliath, Hercules, Patriot, Prodigy, Multiple Man. And finally, other characters that appear in the game are Maria Hill, Namorita, Nick Fury, Nitro, Speedball. The game received positive reviews. You can stop it, Dale.
No!
I don't. I'm not going to go on,
Techno
Dale.
remix.
I'm not going on.
Go again. Everybody!
No. Just stop it, Dale. Stop it, Dale.
Okay.
The show's broken.
You're broken.
We're not going to air this. No, the game received positive reviews, but I kind of feel like the first one played better.
Yeah, I'd say the first one definitely.
It just
this
felt...
This one had a good degree of polish, but I think as far as like the first one had better story, better cast,
The cutscenes,
way
man,
more
like,
recognizable cast.
I hate to debase the game on its cutscenes, but the first one's cutscenes were amazing.
Yes.
And then this one just looked like cheap-ass cutscenes, so...
And at first I was digging the Civil War story because, like, oh, we're playing this, and then just the way the whole third act played out, where it's like, shit, just like the last issue of the Civil War comic. How do we end this? Let's throw this half-ass ending together and hope the fans will buy it. No, we didn't. It sucked. It felt very just slapped together.
I like the comic, but the game, no. Yeah, I was fine with the Civil War in the comic.
Fuck that! You're gonna tell me you're gonna tell me that all of a sudden like a couple of like just innocent bystanders could pull Captain America off Iron Man, and all of a sudden, nope, that was bullshit. It ruined the whole thing. Fanboy ran over.
No.
Awful. But pissed.
Just move on, Dan. Let's just move on.
No, wait, how'd you like Nick Fury there at the end?
Well, I guess this is technically a spoiler for anybody who hasn't played this, but really, if you're listening to this, chances are you played it.
Statute of Limitations is over.
Yeah, the nanite Nick Fury,
Crazy.
Yeah.
He's no Galactus.
Oh well.
Galactus is awesome.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
I still beat the game twice. I had to do the good pro and anti side.
It's worth a replay, yeah, definitely. So the DLC was really fun, and I liked some of the DLC missions as well. But it's nice to play as like Psylocke and Carnage. It was a blast to play as those guys. But the DLC actually got taken down.
Yeah, it was weird. It got taken
So
down.
if you didn't buy it, you're kind of shit out of luck on that. So oh well, you had a year or two to buy it. If you didn't buy it, it's too bad. So
It's rubbing in everyone's face.
I bought it when it came out, man. They advertised it, so oh well. We're such bastards. Oh, if you didn't buy it. Oh wait,
You're a bastard.
another canceled game deal.
Alright. Yeah, you're just throwing me all the canceled ones here.
Sorry.
Guess this is a bad gen for a comic book game. If you're making a comic book game, odds are you're gonna get canceled. Just like Marvel Universe Online.
Which would have been a big deal for them if they'd have gotten it out there before DC.
Which is weird, yeah. You'd think that if you're to hear, okay, Marvel and DC are both having MMO games coming out. One of them's going to end up getting canceled a couple years from now. Which one would you think it would be? You'd probably think, hey, the DC game, because Marvel's obviously like, the more better.
Marvel's got their shit together when it comes to the media market, whereas DC's kind of been rocky over the last few years.
But
Marvel's got Disney backing him now, though, so this might change.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, Marvel Universe Online was a previous working title of Champions Online, which eventually came out as another superhero MMO. Just like City of Heroes, City of Villains. But the MMO was developed by Cryptic Studios. Champions Online is developed by Cryptic Studios and supposed to be published by Microsoft Game Studios exclusively for Windows using a license from Marvel. But IGN stated that Marvel Universe Online would take history from 60 years of Marvel Comics as well as current events and for the next 5 to 10 years. But February of 2008, due to what one of Microsoft's spokesperson referred to as inability to compete with the current MMO marketplace, read WoW. Less than a week later, Cryptic Studios announced the development would continue using a new IP license. Thus, the game became Champions Online. Another inside source cited disagreements with the licensing of the Marvel characters with Microsoft, is what resulted ultimately in the cancellation of the game. So, but if you want to play what this game would have been, check out Champions Online, which has been out for a while now. So,
I don't know. I was kind of disappointed, but oh well.
At least the developers still managed to get a game out of this.
I don't play MMOs, so this I just knew, I'm like, man, they're making all these big promises. I'm like, they're not going to be able to deliver on this. So I don't know.
I'll throw it to you, Matt.
Yep. This is actually a re-release. Appearing on another generation of consoles is Marvel vs. Capcom 2 from 2009, actually, this time, Backbone Capcom. It's a downloadable game on Xbox Live Arcade and the PlayStation Network, which really there were no gameplay changes. And
no, they added online play.
I'll get through that. But gameplay itself never changed. The biggest feature was the online multiplayer menus, and you don't have to unlock anything. Everything's available from the start.
Thank God.
But the core gameplay, nothing. I mean, it's just a port of it. I wanted to read that they ported it from like the Dreamcast too, so they didn't do the crappy Xbox PS2 ports. But yeah, really, like if you like the core game, it's the exact same game. Like nothing has changed, just new features. So
I think there's an up-res graphics mode.
Yep, like anything like smooth, crisp, or
smooth
something like that,
graphics.
But yeah, so I mean, honestly, yeah, if you, I don't know.
I had a blast with that.
Yeah, we picked it up too. It's just
it still plays same
online
great.
play,
Online play worked great. And
because I'm not a Street Fighter tournament champion, apparently. So
yes, you are, Matt.
I'm not bitter or anything, but
yeah, it's crazy fun though. It's many people have probably moved on.
Yeah.
To this
Segue.
next game. Segue to me, I guess. Marvel vs. Capcom 3: Fate of Two Worlds, which came out just a month or two back on PS3 and 360 from Capcom.
We did a show on this.
And I was gonna say, if you want our in-depth review, go back a few episodes to episode 148. We pretty much spent the whole second half of the show, I think, for a half hour. Me, you, and a special guest, Chris, different Chris, went nuts going to town talking about that game. But just give a quick cliff notes here. Same awesome 3-on-3 tag fighting that was made popular in its predecessor. The really new slick graphic redesign kind of represented the chaotic nature of the gameplay perfectly. Online is a little lackluster with no true spectator mode that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 had. Yep. And the DLC already seems to be a little overpriced. They already had 2 DLC characters.
Yeah,
unless you pre-order to get them for free with a special edition, you gotta pay $5 each for a character, which is
awful.
But I guess I have to do a roster rundown, huh?
Just don't do the hamster dance.
What?
Oh, damn it. No. Please no. Please no. There's got to be something, Dale.
I can't hear you, Matt.
Oh, no. You can hear people shutting down their computers, skipping ahead.
Alright, so for roster list, we have Marvel characters. There we go. For Marvel side, we have Captain America, Deadpool, Doctor Doom, Dormammu, Hulk, Iron Man, Magneto, MODOK, Phoenix, Sentinel, She-Hulk, Spider-Man, Storm, Super Skrull, Taskmaster, Thor, Wolverine, and X-23 with DLC Shumagorath. Capcom side, we have Akuma, Albert Wesker, Amaterasu, Arthur, Chris Redfield, Chun-Li, Crimson Viper, Dante, Felicia, Heisen Ko, Mike Hager, Morgan Anselon, Nathan Spencer, Ryu, Trish, Tronbon, Beautiful Joe, and Zero with DLC Jill Valentine. And also the boss is Galactus, and it is badass.
Did you just randomly click on this song?
It was right under Hamster Dance. It was alphabetical order.
By title, right? By name?
Hank Williams Jr.
Oh, Dale. There are people tuning out as we speak.
I said I'm going to make the roster lists fun, Matt.
Well, I have a short roster list coming up soon. I don't need music, so.
I don't believe you.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, if you want to hear a more full in-depth review, episode 148 for Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Okay. Next up, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe 2008, Midway Warner Brothers. It's a multiplayer fighting game. It's the 8th game in the Mortal Kombat series. It's written by Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray. Yes. Alright.
Can't forget those awesome spin-offs, Matt.
Here's the story now. There's a bit of sarcasm in this.
Yeah, this is a great story for a fighting game.
So Raiden is fighting Shao Kahn, and at the same time in a different universe, Superman is fighting Darkseid. Raiden blasts Kahn into a portal, while the exact same time Superman does about the same to Darkseid with his heat rays. Okay, they merge into Dark Kahn instead of dying. The two portals somehow they merge, so they become Dark Kahn. So this causes the different worlds to begin to merge. And Dark Kahn, as he gets angrier, rage outbreaks start to occur. And the heroes' powers get angry and their powers fluctuate, which is supposed to cover why Superman's not as badass and just doesn't kill everybody right away.
Rage!
Okay, there are two different versions of the story depending on which side you play on, with the Mortal Kombat blaming the DC characters for invading their homes, or DC blaming Mortal Kombat for invading their homes, and that's basically the stories. You just fight through the rosters. The game features include falling in combat and close combat, which is basically kind of like a mini button mashing game. And falling combat's when you say you're on a top level and you push somebody off a railing. It's multi-tier combat, so you just button tap and whoever wins the.
That was really cool. I thought
it's decent,
bursting through walls or falling
the
through the
close
air.
combat, you run through a wall, you can throw an opponent through a building. Rage mode is introduced, and this feature allows the player to break guard on the second hit, and it prevents stun, knockdown, or pop-up. So the more damage you get, the more angry your character gets, and you can use this as kind of like a last defense type thing. Roster's actually pretty small for this. DC side is Batman, Captain Marvel, Catwoman, Darkseid, Deathstroke, The Flash, Green Lantern, Joker, Lex Luthor, Superman, Wonder Woman, and then on the Mortal Kombat side we have Baraka, Jax, Kano, Katana, Liu Kang, Raiden, Scorpion, Shang Tsung, Shao Kahn, Sonya Blade, and Sub-Zero. Harley Quinn, Doomsday, Quan Chi, and Kung Lao were actually considered for DLC, but later canceled.
Because Midway went out of business, unfortunately.
Yeah. Now, which I was actually going to say, this is actually the last game Midway released. They filed for bankruptcy shortly after it came out.
Well, they kind of released one more game.
According to the wiki on this...
it was the last game they published. They had one more game that had Midway on the cover label. Wheelman came out a couple months later, but they got Ubisoft to distribute and officially publish it.
Yeah, this says it's officially the last release for it, so that's kind of odd. But anyway, either way, that's,
Nerd talk!
Mortal Kombat characters still have their fatalities, but the heroes had heroic brutalities, which are essentially toned down fatalities because heroes don't kill.
That's right.
And DC wanted to stress that.
They deliver evil beatdowns.
Now, reviews were decent for the game, but the game being toned down for DC turned off fans of the series. It was less gory or not as much blood. One of the Joker's...
I'm surprised they still got as much blood as they did for T rating.
One of the Joker's brutalities, he shoots somebody off screen, it pans away. And if you bought the game in other countries outside the States, it would actually just back up and you'd see it still. Not much to say about that. I think we both played through it. I'm not big into the Mortal Kombat series, so I guess my opinion's kind of different on this. I thought it was alright. It's definitely no MVC, but
I had a blast with it. I mean, I love Mortal Kombat, and a
lot of the diehard fans though consider it a stain. So
I think it's kind of as far as if you're
a
hardcore fan for it because of gore and the fatalities and all that is a big mark against it. But as far as being a straight up fighting game, it's a lot of fun. The game was a blast at multiplayer parties. I remember bringing it to a Super Bowl party once, and we kind of rocked it before. And everyone was having a blast with the attacks, and it seemed like some of the DC hero attacks just, Green Lantern especially, the giant fist boom right in the face and hammers. It just was really cool, and just a lot of the characters just really good crossovers, and just I had a lot of fun playing it, and the story too at the time. Just even as weird and kooky as it was, just the way it played out, and was unlike most other fighting games, or what Tekken, Virtua Fighter, DOA, what you played through just like a ladder fighters, you get like a little 20-30 second cutscene at the end. Here, actually had awesome like 20-30 second, or like anywhere from like half minute to 2-3 minute long cutscenes in between each and every fight. It was really cool.
Right. Next one's actually yours, so you can continue.
No. Yes, this one's based off a webcomic, Penny Arcade, on the Rain Slick Precipice of Darkness. Yes, this was supposed to be well, actually, this is interesting. This was developed by Hothead Games. It came out on PC, Xbox Live Arcade, and PSN in 2008. Episodes 1 and 2 both came out in 2008. Excuse me. And it has players controlling their own character who join up with the Penny Arcade stars Gabe and Tycho in pursuit of invading giant robots and the Penny Arcade staple, the Fruit Fucker. Invading Fruit Fuckers. And this plays like an adventure game with point-and-click-esque exploring and turn-based RPG-style combat. And Gabe and Tycho actually provided art assets and wrote the story. So game definitely captures that art, that Penny Arcade vibe. And I thought the story was kind of cool, but could have definitely used a little more voice work. I mean, I get it; it's a comic,
yeah.
But they have the story playing out in comic panels, but just to get like little sound bites, kind of.
Yeah, see, I remember I don't know much about Penny Arcade, which I probably should, but I did play a little bit of it. It was decent from what I played.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I got several hours into the first episode. I liked it.
Part of that was due to the price, though.
Yes.
Which, was it $20 an episode regularly for 2 episodes?
Yeah, I got that on here. I'll get into it in just a sec here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I dug the adventure RPG style combat, but only in like hour spurts. I can only really play this game hour time, and I got about 3 hours into like the first episode, and yeah, the combat was kind of reminiscent of Square's action time battle games, with character having special limit break-esque attacks, and assist characters like the lovable cat that only does 1 HP damage because he's a lazy cat. Yeah, like I said, Matt, the price was what held me up. I remember playing the demo and going, hey, this seems like a cool game, but it was the first $20 Xbox Live Arcade game.
Yeah.
And so $20, I was like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it for $20, and for episodic, too.
Yeah, I was like, no.
Knowing it's like, all right, how many episodes are there going to be? It was supposed to be 4 episodes, I think, and it just, yeah, so I was just like, yeah, I don't want to pay $20, so I held off, but just a couple months ago, PSN had a hell of a sale. Both games bundled together for, was it $2 or $3?
Yep.
And I'm like, hell yeah, I'll jump on that. That's a unbelievably great deal. And now both the games on XBLA are now only $10 each. So
which after I'm like, man, that's like a $37 off a game. So that's definitely an awesome deal. So I'll take that over the Xbox version.
But now it's like, I know I'll definitely play these because I'm liking the game so far, and it does suck though knowing the game was supposed to be 4 episodes
and it didn't get finished. Yep.
And Gabe and Tycho said they aren't going to finish it because one of them was quoted by saying, Gabe and Tycho were quoted by saying, Hothead had a chance to do something really cool with Death Spank, and we'd rather not do it than do it half-assed. So it's like, all right, we're not going to just half-ass these games while Hothead's cranking out these cool Death Spank games. So kind of sucks, but hey, it's really cool to say, based off a webcomic based about video games, they managed to make a video game about it.
And I don't mind paying $3 for something that was $40, knowing that it's not complete. Like, I'd rather pay $3 than $40, so you live with that.
Yeah, not too bad. All right, Matt, I'll throw it to you on. I think
you're probably
going to be the all-star lineup of this gen.
You're probably going to have more to say about this than I am, but oh my god, Punisher No Mercy, 2009 by Zen Studios, the pinball guys. It's a multiplayer first-person shooter with artwork by Mike Diodato. You play as the Punisher, Barracuda, Bushwhacker, Jigsaw, Silver Sable, Microchip, Finn Cooley, or Jenny Caesar, I don't know.
Caesar.
It's your really, really basic first-person shooter, and it is awful.
Yes.
Dale, you were a huge Punisher fan. We both played this. You are still a huge Punisher fan. But, very basic story mode. It's basically multiplayer with bots.
Yeah.
There's no HUD, like, nothing to tell you where your enemy is until they're shooting at you. I remember multiplayer, man, like, that was like a month after it came out, there's like nobody, it was just us, and then maybe one guy would pop on and just massacre us, because he...
There were a lot of people on, like, the first week. Then it was, like, a week later, Battlefield 1943 hit XBLA and PSN and quickly became, like, the best-selling downloadable game at that point. So, that's where everybody went.
A final thought on this on my part is, sadly, if you did not pick up this gem, it has been quietly pulled from the PlayStation
Now, we
Network.
still gotta try and get some trophy whores.
You can no longer buy this game on the PlayStation Network, so...
Oh, it got delisted?
It is pulled from the list, so...
I wonder if the online's still up.
So just for you fans out there that were going to purchase this game and maybe didn't know about it, it is no
Man, we
longer
should
there.
play this again.
Maybe deal. I don't know.
We could still get the 100 grenade launcher kills. I'm guessing they must have took down the online servers.
We'll
as they
find out.
took
We'll test
down-
it out.
Yeah.
We'll get back to you guys on this newsworthy tidbit.
Well,
Is this a quarter?
what?
Is this a canceled game, or do we not get this stateside? This next one.
No, I got a few things to add about Punisher No Mercy, man.
Oh no, that's cool. We got another game to cover.
Nope. I thought it was cool how it integrated characters from the Max universe. Even
The art style was cool.
Fing Cooley, Barracuda were great characters from the Max universe, even though the game played like crap. Hey, it was only a $10 download, so was it a total loss, right?
$5 down.
Right. What?
Should have been a $5 down.
It was probably on sale at one point.
I mean, I got respect for Zen Studios with their pinball games, but
Yeah.
anything branching out of that between the Rocky and Bullwinkle game and now Punisher, they have not fared so well.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. I don't know how the Zen guys were like, hey, we should make a first-person shooter. Yeah!
What? Yeah, I like the Punisher. Hey, let's make a first-person Punisher shooter game. Okay. Fuck. Yeah, speaking of that, man, the language in that's actually something noteworthy, too. There's a lot of cussing in that game, which is kind of amusing, but...
Alright.
Yeah.
So this next game, I looked it up. It's called Rogue Trooper: The Quartz Zone Massacre. It came in 2009 for the Wii from Graffiti and developed by Rebellion. And after looking it up, this game is just a port of Rogue Trooper on PS2 and Xbox, which came out in 2006, 3 years before it. And we already covered it last episode. I played that game.
So it is a straight port?
Yeah, it is a straight up port. It adds waggle controls. And
So they ported...
I already got some motion controls.
Oh.
But waggle.
So they just ported an old PS2 game to the Wii and gave it a new title, more or less?
Well, they also added a 4-player split-screen co-op survival mode. You know, it got to have that bonus mode. So, yeah, that's all they added, and yeah. So that's pretty much the only difference, so we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
So it's you.
Alright, this is going to be short and sweet for this one, because we actually covered this one as well in a
Episode 132.
Yeah, this is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the video game, 2010, Ubisoft Montreal. It's a multiplayer beat-em-up, kind of classic style. It follows the graphic novels more than the movie. There's music by Anna Monoguchi, and you can play as Scott, Ramona, Kim, Steven, Nega Scott, or DLC character Knives Chow. Knives is actually a summon character as well, and you can, I think, unlock Mr. Chow as well later in the game. It received multiple downloadable Game of the Year nominations. I don't think it won. I think, Costume Quest actually beat it out on a lot of them. No. Unfortunately, but really awesome game. I don't want to spend too much time. We really did a long, lengthy episode.
Yeah.
Like we did like a whole episode dedicated to Scott Pilgrim, actually.
Episode 132.
It's one of those things like, you know, they fixed some of the stuff like the grinding that you had to do, the difficulty. It's definitely worth picking up. I still say it's worth picking up. We still need to finish it. So
I don't know if I want to, Matt. You
I
turned
was
into Nega Matt.
I was in rage mode at the last
Nega
boss. I was
Man.
like, why do you guys keep dying?
Give me a revive, bitches. Okay, Matt.
Everyone got to see my dark side as we played that game. So,
You're evil. I'm going.
sorry.
Come back. Okay. You guys suck. Help.
Oh man, this next one, Dale.
Give me that goddamn sword.
Dale, I started this one. I'd played it on the PS2, and I started this one on this gen.
We reviewed this last episode, right?
I don't remember. Do we need to? I think we did. I don't know.
Well, we'll just kind of quickly go over it. We're talking about Spider-Man 3 based off the movie.
Oh, we did, but this one plays completely different than the PS2 version.
Oh, it does?
Because they had developers that did different versions for the different consoles, and that was one of the big draws.
Treyarch and Vicarious Visions as the two developers.
I guess I'll throw in a little insight on this. This is another sandbox game. They do play differently than on the next generation, so I didn't know if you knew that or not. It's my bad. But I started this to get notes on it, and it's just terrible.
I remember you said the one on PS2 was bad, too.
Yes.
Why is this one worse? It's still open world like the PS2?
Still open world, yeah. It just been bogged down, and they're just relying on the franchise to sell it, and I didn't play very much into it, so I'll just let you go through what you have, and my 2 cents are it's bad.
I got it kind of follows the plot of the third movie, kind of like Spider-Man 2, and mixes in kind of like unique characters from the comic.
Filler.
Yeah, filler. There we go. Follows the plot of the third movie, and I'll just run down the cast here. So we have Peter Parker and Spider-Man, Harry Osborn and New Goblin there, Eddie Brock eventually goes into Venom, J. Jonah Jameson, MJ, Lizard, aka Dr. Kirk Connors, Robbie Robertson, Betty Bryant, Bruce Campbell, the narrator. Again, so hey, at least we got that going for it, right? Matt Bomber, a.k.a. Luke Carlisle. Craven the Hunter, a.k.a. Sergei Kravinoff. And Penny Marco. So yeah, there's your cast. That's... Oh wait, and I also got 360 PS3 had exclusive characters. We had Dr. Stillwell, Mr. Chi, Dr. Andrews, Jeannie DeWolf, Scorpion Mac McGargan, Kingpin, a.k.a. Wilson Fisk, Rhino. Oh, I love Rhino from Spider-Man 2. He was awesome comic relief, so he's back.
Good DLC as well.
Alexei Sitsive, Calypso.
Alright.
Oh yeah, you can also play as Black Suit Spidey.
Oh, that's the main draw of the game, actually.
New rage attacks.
Something I don't know if you wrote down either. There's also DLC for the New Goblin you could play as for some levels as well. I don't know if you mentioned that or not, but
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Should we just skip?
Yes.
I think we're good on this.
Yes.
Spider-Man 3 was a flaming pile of trash. So we'll jump into another Spider game, a Spider-Man friend or foe. It's 2007, Next Level Games Activision. It's a multiplayer action-adventure game. It's a kid-friendly take on Spider-Man with cues from the movie and comics. It's kind of like an amalgam of both. It kind of plays like an old-school beat-em-up, I want to say. Like, loosely say that, but... plot revolves around Spidey having to team up with various villains to take down a symbiote threat. Like, basically, something crashes and the symbiote goes everywhere. People get taken over by it, and Spidey rescues him, and they team up to take down Mysterio in the end. Characters that appear and you can play as Spider-Man, New Goblin, Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Sandman, Venom, Rhino, Scorpion, Black Cat, Iron Fist, Lizard Blade, Mysterio, and Nick Fury. It's not a bad game. I really don't have a lot to say about this. Definitely a kiddie game.
Did you get the full 1,000 for this one?
I think I did, actually.
Yeah!
Me and my wife played through it, because we just play through on co-op games a lot. She's like, why do we always play kid games? I'm like, I actually have to review this one soon, so we'll just do that, but,
Right.
No, we played through it, like, Army 2 and stuff like that, but this, it's a good throw-in with a buddy weekend game type thing, like, or if you got a kid or something, and you want a game that you can play with them, it's one that won't melt your brain, so, because some of those kids games are awful, but...
Good for the kiddies.
I don't have much to say about it. It's a unique game in itself. It's a Spider-Man kiddie game, so, with that, I'll throw it back to you.
Oh, guess what? Another Spider-Man game. Spider-Man Web of Shadows from Activision, Treyarch, and Shaba in 2008 on the PS3, 360, and the Wii. And guess what? It's another open-world, action-based Spidey game. And Web of Shadows' main drawing point is that you can pursue either a good or evil path. You know, either is a good old traditional red and blue suit Spider-Man, or just like Spider-Man 3, the symbiote suit Spider-Man. So, and you also get different attacks with each path too, so kind of little bit of reason to go along whatever path you want to choose. And A battle of Venom leads to Spidey getting infected with the symbiote, as well as New York City. Depending on the path you take, one of 4 possible endings can occur on your quest to rid NYC of the infestation. So, you kind of got that going for you. And,
You're like, yeah, you kind of got that going.
I said it more enthusiastic than that, Matt. So you got that going. I haven't played this game, can you tell? No, as a Wii exclusive, there are 6 alternate costumes. Spider Carnage for the black suit, Spider Armor, Ben Reilly, Spider-Man 2099, Cosmic Spider-Man, and Iron Spider. So, and characters appearing are Black Cat, Black Widow, Electro, Kingpin, Luke Cage, MJ, Moon Knight, Rhino, Tinkerer, Venom, Vulture, and Wolverine. So, Matt, you beat this game. How does it rank in the Spider-Man?
I'll say this about this game. I was really looking forward to it. The combat style looked different than anything I'd said. They'd promised a more fluid combat style, which I found it to be more fluid, but got more repetitive. I don't know, man. I was kind of disappointed. I think this was kind of like the, okay, we need to stop making open-world Spidey games just for a little, like, we needed a break. Because it had gotten really stale at this point. I don't know if you remember, but, like, Luke Cage had that really, like, he had a thug voice. Like, he's like, I'm Luke Cage. And I was like, oh, God, like, this is terrible. But I just, it was not up to the quality that I expected with building with the earlier Spider-Man games. And, I thought they were going to take a break for Spider-Man for a while after this, but, you know, Activision, yeah. Hey, let's pump out another licensed game, so.
It looks like they learned their lesson the next year.
Oh, yeah. Which, yeah, we'll just segue into this one. Web of Shadows overall, it's decent, but it's not a great Spider-Man game, so. Next one is Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, 2010 by Beanox Activision. And I actually, in one of my rare times, covered this in a review, but my own review, actually.
Yes.
Just surprising. It's a one-player action adventure where the player, the story is that the player has, I gotta start over from there. The tablet of order and chaos is shattered, and Madam Web calls on 4 different versions of Spider-Man from 4 realities to help her restore it. The player will either play as the Amazing Spider-Man, with the gameplay being focused on more melee and combo attacks. You play as either him or Noir Spider-Man, which is more stealth-based. 2099, which is fast-paced acrobatics, like you're gonna do like falling scenes, like we gotta dodge stuff. And more combat. And then Ultimate Spider-Man, which is kind of similar to the Amazing Spider-Man, only you have the symbiote suit, which you use that to make full-screen attacks. Really good graphics, with each scenario having a distinct look, like the Noir is sepia-based, shadows. The Amazing Spider-Man's kind of sketchy looking, and 2099's got a lot of like neon stuff like that. Voiceovers include actors who have provided who have previously voiced Spider-Man in early cartoons: Neil Patrick Harris, Christopher Daniel Barnes, Dan Gilvezan, and Josh Keaton. Villains that appear in the game are Juggernaut, Mysterio, Goblin, Vulture, Doc Ock, Carnage, Electro, Kraven, the Sandman, Hammerhead, Hobgoblin, Scorpion, and Deadpool. The other characters appearing are Madam Web, Enforcers, Public Eye, Spider Slayers, Silver Sable, Alchemax, and S.H.I.E.L.D. Game got really good reviews. I really dug it. So
I rented it, only got a chance to get a couple levels in, and I was liking it until I got to the Noir Spider-Man part. It was just too stealthy for... There's been a couple exceptions, but yeah, for the most part, I'm not a fan of stealth, and just couldn't get into that part of the game, unfortunately.
I gotta plug my review on Retroids.
Look at Matt's blog account on Retroids.
Which I've written maybe 6 blogs that are short.
No one important, I believe it was.
Shameless plug. Right.
Yes. Alrighty. Superhero Squad for the Wii and Wii. For now. This one came out by THQ and Blue Tongue. And you know you got a good game when your developer is Blue Tongue. As you can tell, I haven't played this game either. But for this game, from according to my research, we have this game is obviously aimed towards kids because it's based off the cartoon series of the same name, has a cartoonist style, and seen on the TV show from the action figures. Dr. Doom. For the story, you have Dr. Doom seeking fractions of an Infinity Sword, and he tries to possess the sword itself, but Iron Man and the Hero Squad intervene and destroy it, sending fractals of the sword throughout the gameplay universe. Dr. Doom tries to collect enough of them to create a smaller Infinity Sword, which he does, and so the squad must stop him. The game is split into two parts, adventure mode and battle mode. Adventure mode has two characters fighting through levels by defeating waves and waves of enemies. The game features on-the-fly character swapping, kind of similar to Lego Star Wars games, and features drop-in, drop-out cooperative gameplay with AI playing the unused characters during single-player. Battle mode is a free-for-all fight, similar to Super Smash Bros., and players can defeat enemies by depleting their health or knocking them out of the arena. So those are your two gameplay modes. And for our character list, we have, for the superhero squad, we have Captain America, Falcon, Hulk, Invisible Woman, Iron Man, War Machine, Miss Marvel, Nightcrawler, Silver Surfer, Spider-Man, Storm, Thing, Thor, U.S. Agent, Wolverine. And for the Lethal Legion, their adversaries, we have the AIM Agent, Abomination, Crimson Dynamo, Doctor Doom, Juggernaut, Loki, Magneto, MODOK, Mole Man, Sabretooth, Sentinel, and Doombot. So, Matt, you've played this one, right?
I played the PS2 version, so I don't want to
Okay.
quote too much on the Wii version. But
Oh yeah, you probably already covered enough last.
the PS2 version is awful. Like, awful. Like, two-player split screen, I don't know how it is on the Wii, but the two-player split screen on the PS2, there were points when, actually I shouldn't say I even call it split screen. You're on the same screen, and if I wandered off to the side, you couldn't even see the second player. It was just me. So, it's just broken. The game was broken, so. But that's the PS2, so I'll leave it at that.
I guess I'll throw it to you for the sequel.
The sequel I actually did play all the way through. It did come out on all systems this gen. It's Superhero Squad, The Infinity Gauntlet, 2010, by Kryptonite Games this time around in THQ. It is a two-player beat-em-up based off the Superhero Squad cartoon and toy line. It's definitely a kid's game. There's no adult gameplay, jokes, anything in this. It's pretty dry.
So if you got a niece or nephew,
Yeah.
here you go. They'll love you if you play this with them.
There's three modes. There's a story challenge, which is just basically mini games from the story mode, and then free play, which is like Lego. You go back with different characters. They borrow a lot from Lego with these games. And just because you guys want to hear the story, while shopping for Thor's birthday party, the box containing Thor's new boots was switched to Super Skrull's laundry. Iron Man and Hulk try to recover them, only to end up battling the Super Skrull on Thanos' cruise ship. The heroes win, only to be attacked by Thanos. While fighting, the ship is hit by an asteroid, and the heroes recover the Power Infinity Gem. Iron Man then sends them on a quest to collect all of the Infinity Gems. Yeah. So it's Thor's birthday, but...
You know what I think of that story?
Oh, God, no! The heroes that appear in this game, from the sounds of it, actually has a smaller roster than the first one, but, Hulk, Captain America, Bucky, Black Widow, Falcon, Invisible Woman, Iron Man, Nova, Quicksilver, Reptile, who, he's just from the cartoon, I don't actually know him. Scarlet Witch, She-Hulk, Spider-Man, Thor, and Wolverine. Villains that appear are Abomination, Annihilus, Dark Surfer, Doctor Doom, Doombots, Galactus, Grandmaster, Hercules, MODOK, Nebula, Nightmare, Red Skull, Super Skrull, and Thanos. There were 3 DLC packs which were released. If you bought the game new, you actually got the Captain America collection for free. The others were Doctor on the Loose and Thanos Throwdown. While it's not a great game, it is far better than the first. It's easy to play. It's not. It's
More tolerable.
we played through and finished in a few hours. If you get, it's one of those games you got a nephew or something, like, you're scraping the barrel on this, but it's still probably better to play with the kids, so.
Let the kids play it.
I think, I don't know if we covered this on the last gen or not, but I threw this one to you.
Yeah. I know you said you played the PS2 version.
I think
played
we plan
the
on covering this
360
version, so, yeah.
I remember you hated the PS2 version. I thought the 360 version was alright. If I remember right, I think the 360 version came out later. Give it some extra polish.
You gotta tell them what game it is, though, Dale.
No. Superman Returns, of course, is what we're talking about. From EA and EA Tiburon in 2006. This gen only came out on 360. But the 360 version received a little more polish than the PS2 and Xbox. And it it followed the popular trend around that time was, hey, let's make an open world action game with a superhero. Flying around with Superman is kind of cool, especially when you can break the sound barrier, which is one of the few things this game has going for it, positive-wise. But publisher EA must have wanted it to be a success because they got the key role actors from the film, such as Brandon Routh, Kevin Spacey, and Kate Bosworth, to grant their likenesses and voice their roles in the game. Superman Superman Returns mixes in some of the plot elements from the film, where you got to try Lex Luthor from taking over Metropolis, but also mixes in villains from the comic series, like the Spider-Man games does in its open world games. So comic enthusiasts can look forward to battling well-known supervillains like Bizarro and Metallo. And since Superman, he's invincible and never dies, instead of a health meter, you have a overall health meter for the city of Metropolis.
Ugh.
And as villains rain down destruction long enough, the game's over once the city health meter depletes to 0, so you'll constantly have to do little quick side missions like rescue, ambush attacks, and put out fires and stuff like that. So, it kind of got repetitive. It kind of took away from the game in the long run. Seemed to serve as filler, experience fodder. Graphics are okay, but don't seem like 360 caliber even for like that early of a game. And other main drawback is the game was beaten within 6 to 7 hours. So, yeah.
All right, I'm going to do a preview of a game once again. We got Thor: God of Thunder 2011. It should be out within the next couple of weeks, actually. It's by Liquid Entertainment. It's under their Sega movie license. It's a single-player action game co-written by Mac Fraction, who's writing, I think he wrote Iron Man during that time the movie came out. It's Thor's first standalone.
Who's the writer again?
Matt Fraction.
Oh, yeah, I love Matt. He wrote Punisher War Journal.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's Thor's first standalone game. It's based off the upcoming film, and actors reprise the voices. I don't really know a whole lot about this game, but it looks kind of neat. So it's really actually all I have for that one.
It's published by Sega.
Yeah, we'll see. Couple weeks. Maybe we'll have another review.
Did you see it awesome? You know what I think of this? What this Thor game is going to be as good as? That awesome bit on Conan where they show the new person who's going to be voicing Thor in the movie.
Yes. That's a great clip, actually. You're an old man and a fool. Definitely check that out. It's a good clip. So, now I'll throw this back to you actually with the game we both played. Actually, TMNT.
Yeah, based off the awesome CG movie came alongside. Yeah, I like the movie.
The movie's pretty good actually.
From the CG, we're of course referring to this CG movie that came out in the summer of 2007, and the PS3 and 360 versions. And the Wii version, I guess, too, made by Ubisoft and Ubisoft Montreal. I guess it's worth noting this is the first non-Konami Turtles game, because before this one, they were all made by Konami. And so, of course, they're trying to cash in off that movie license. And you think, all right, cool, another 4-player Turtle game I'm in. Nope. This was a single, 1-player, third-person platformer action game where you played as all 4 Turtles against kind of swap between them on the fly, and also you could play as Ralph's alter alias Night Watcher, but through the 16 levels. But yeah, this follows the plot of the movie where you're trying to take on their rival Max Winters, who's threatening to open a portal that will unleash 13 monsters from another dimension. So it kind of sucks. The game's only single player, but
it's still fun. Actually.
Yeah, I still had a decent time with it. The platforming was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cheap as hell too right now, and easy to get 1,000 gamer score on it. Really easy to get 1,000 gamer score. Basically, you play through the game, you're going to get 1,000 gamer score.
Yep.
So it's not really even a long game either. So
yeah, it's decent fun. Some of the boss battles are pretty cool. I guess for the complete cast, I got of course the 4 main turtles and Splinter, and General Gato, Bigfoot, General Mono, Shredder, and the Stone Generals. So yeah, that's TMNT.
Dale's losing steam.
No,
I thought it was a pretty solid game though. It's actually pretty decent. So, toss over to me.
Yes.
All right. TMNT Smash Up only on the Wii actually. It's a Wii and PS2, but it's the Wii we're covering right now. It's 2009 Game Arts Ubisoft. It's a multiplayer fighting game and more or less poor man's Smash Brothers clone. That's all it is.
I wouldn't say a poor man.
It's not as good. It's less refined.
Maybe not so well off, man.
Plenty of modes for this. We both actually play this. The story mode takes about 15 minutes to beat.
Yes.
There's cutscenes in the story mode by Mirage Studios. They're pretty neat. It's artwork black and white based off the original comics. That part's pretty cool. The roster actually consists of April O'Neil, Casey Jones, Donatello, Foot Ninja, Fugitoid, Karai, Leonardo, Master Splitter, Michelangelo, Night Watcher, Raphael Shredder, Ultraminator, And then as a bonus from Ubisoft, Ninja Rabbid, Raving Rabbid, and Splinter Rabbid. Why did they put those in there instead of other characters they could have included on the roster? Why the hell is this such a small roster at this day and age?
And Casey Jones, right?
Yeah, they had Casey Jones. Yeah, but why 3 rabbits to fill out the roster?
Because the rabbits were huge on the Wii, man.
But it got mixed reviews. Like I said, I didn't hate it. I'm not a big fan of Smash Brothers, but like we played through it. I played through it a couple times. It's all right. I don't know. I don't got much to say about this game. I think we brought this up on an old show as well, but
yeah, I just remember playing through it with you, thinking it was okay, but nothing.
So it's
made me want to come back to it.
Yeah, and then another Turtles game back to you actually.
Yeah, this one was re-release or remake, I guess you could say. Came out in summer of 2009, part of the summer of Xbox Live Arcade. Later came out of PSN, but Turtles in Time reshelled by Ubisoft. And this was a remake of the SNES an arcade classic of the early 90s, where we followed the Turtles as they journeyed through time against the Foot Clan and friends. So it's a remake of that version, but did not feature any of the SNES bonus levels or content. So that is a big drawback. It does, however, feature 4-player local online play, as the graphics are done in a new cell shading style, kind of like the style Konami did on their PS2 Xbox games. And kind of has a tacked-in survival and quick play mode. So there's little replay value there, but it was considered an inferior remake due to little replay value, lack of SNES levels, and inability to join mid-game, through drop-in, drop-out co-op. So if you wanted to join in, you'd have to restart the game, which would suck. Voices returned, but were revoiced by the 2003 cartoon cast, so no classic voices, which sucks. Yeah. My toes. So
it was decent.
Yeah, it's still good.
I think it's better to play with friends. Like I go back to it like every couple months. I'll play through real quick.
Game's not a blast, but
it's like somehow the fun gets sapped out of it.
Yeah,
I don't know how to explain
it.
But
it seems to be one of those games like we've been coming back to like once a year just to play through.
Which I still do that with the originals, anyways. But jumping from that to another original, TMNT 1989 Classic Arcade. It's basically an Xbox, 2007 by Digital Eclipse Ubisoft. It's an Xbox Live Arcade re-release. Basically, big difference, online multiplayer. Mm-hmm. It's more or less a port. Some of the things got cut out. I think the Pizza Hut thing got cut out.
No.
I remember there was product placement by Pizza Hut originally, and I know that. I think that got cut.
Yeah,
so.
It did.
Basically, just a re-release of that game. It's awesome. It's still fun to play through. So, and that is it for the Turtles.
We're
winding down your deal.
Winding down, yeah. We're winding down with some Turok. That's right, Turok. Back, 2008. Almost a 10-year hiatus from Touchstone and Propaganda games. And this was based on the Acclaim line of Turok comics. Not the Valiant, not the Gold Key, but the Acclaim line. And it's a reboot of the series with no continuity from the previous games, though it is still in a first-person shooter like the previous games. So the players takes on the role of a soldier named Corporal Turok. Yes, really. Previously, Turok was a member of the Wolf Pack, a specialized military detachment whose members were trained in Black Ops by General Roland Kane. After falling out within the group, Turok was reassigned to a general military unit known as the Whiskey Company. The team together has been assembled to apprehend his former mentor and return him to Earth. So, in the main single-player story, there are dinosaurs. If you're wondering where the hell are the dinosaurs, they gotta be in here, but they are neutral units and can be used as an option to hurt the enemy. You can use them to kill the enemy, so that's kind of cool. And stealth plays a dynamic role of combat with a stealthy knife and bow kills, along with a new silent kill features. So, sounds like the game does encourage stealth play. And Turok does have a good chunk of multiplayer options with 3 unique co-op missions.
If you can find anybody.
Oh, yeah, I guess, huh, yeah.
Like, there's nobody playing it. I found one guy after, 2 weeks of trying to get some info on multiplayer, so.
Oh, it sucks.
And then he just stood in the same spot, and I got a bunch of achievements for killing him. That was awesome, actually.
Yes. And, there's also a lot of competitive multiplayer variants, deathmatch, capture flag, war games, and assault capture the flag variants. Though I imagine probably not too many people are playing this anymore. I guess one other thing I wanted to bring up, this game had some controversy at launch with a achievement named the Grab Bag achievement. which was for online, reward you for online play if a player managed to kill themselves, an enemy, and a dinosaur and a teammate all in one round.
Nice.
And the developer said it was originally intended as a joke since it happened to a lot of play testers in their first match, but the internet rebellion led to it being patched away from Turok faster than the dastardly achievement in Red Dead Redemption. So yeah. Matt, I know you played through this. I only played the demo of this. Anything about this stood out to you compared to the 64 classics?
Wow, at first I didn't want to play through this. I actually finished the game. I struggled a little bit. It's not bad. You could tell it's an early launch game, not launch title, I shouldn't say, but like an early...
First, second wave?
Yeah, it's definitely lackluster in some aspects, but it's not a bad game per se. It's just basic first-person shooter. Dinosaurs do a lot of interaction. A lot of them are neutral. Some of them, if they get in the way of an enemy and the enemy shoots them, they'll attack them. But you still have to fight like raptors and stuff like that. There is one T-Rex you will fight in the game. And it sucks. But
I believe it.
It's not a bad game, no. It's pretty over the top in some parts.
I want to say I remember speaking of over the top, like the knife kills of the dinosaur to the head look cool.
Yeah, that gets repetitive though.
Oh yeah.
Anytime you get like a certain dinosaur, it's easier to kill them with your knife than shooting them, but it's the same animation over and over again. And that gets repetitive, so. Decent game, though. You can probably get that for under $10 too, so. Guess I'll jump in the next one. Wanted Weapons of Fate from 2009, Grin Universal, which Grin is now defunct as well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Comic book games, man, don't do them.
Yeah.
Bad business deal.
Single player, third-person shooter. It takes place actually 5 hours after the movie. Wesley searches for the truth about his family, hunts down the immortal, the man believed to have killed his mother. It's kind of a convoluted story. You definitely have to have seen the movie to play this game, because it would make no sense whatsoever. The game plays like your standard shooter, basic bullet time effects. I guess the sell on this game is the bullet curve, which if you saw the movie, you know what the bullet curve, it's really neat. You get to play as Cross, Wesley's father, and some of the flashbacks too. The dialogue is funny in the game. There's a lot of cussing, really obscene comments in it. Got mixed reviews. I thought it was okay. I think I told you it's worth playing through once or twice, but nothing special. Grin was actually working on the sequel to this before they closed. So that's really all I have to say about that. So throw it back to you for Watchmen: The End Is Nigh.
Yes, Watchmen: The End Is Nigh came out in 2009 from Warner Brothers and Deadline Games. Kind of interesting. This game originally had a PSN XBLA release. It was a two-parter episodic, but it was originally also released on launch on retail disc as a bonus with the limited edition of Watchmen,
which is actually the version I bought.
And I thought that was cool. Eventually, later came collected as a retail disc later on in the year in 2009. So
I wanted the movie on Blu-ray, so
that's really cool for
the
whole the complete package deal. But players control only Night Owl 2 or Rorschach, and Patrick Wilson and Jackie Haley from the movie they provide their voices for. So you don't get any crappy sound alike. So that's pretty cool. Cutscenes are done via your surprise motion comic style, which seems to be pretty popular for downloadable games. But actually seems appropriate here.
Yeah.
Considering they made a motion comic movie of the Watchmen graphic novel. So, but this game's a 3D beat 'em up in the vein of Streets of Rage or Final Fight with unique and upgradable attacks. So, but unfortunately, Matt, I played through the first part with you and a little bit of the second part. There's some shitty camera work that kind of...
They're both pretty awful games, actually.
Shitty camera work and...
really repetitive.
Yeah, that's what I got in here, too. Really repetitive and tedious gameplay.
I've played through both of them, and I'm I know we were going to play through the second one again to get you some experience, and I don't
we
really
got to
want
finish it. Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Made it a chore to get through, that's for sure. But I guess for the story, I guess it's kind of interesting just kind of reference where the story takes place and all. It takes place in 1972 before the movie, where they were still officially crime-fighting vigilantes before, before the government outlawed it a few years later. And upon hearing a police bulletin, the Night Owl and Rorschach make their way to the Sing Sing prison to eliminate riots that have erupted there, only to find out it was a cover-up leading into a grand conspiracy to try and hide the Watergate scandal. So, real interesting kind of overarching story they have there. And for characters featured in here from the Watchmen universe, we have the Underboss, Rum Runner, Jimmy the Gimmick, FBI agent Mark Felt, the comedian Violent Green, and Twilight Lady. So, Matt, I'll throw it back to you.
All right. Yeah, Watchmen's bad.
Yeah, it's not worth buying.
But for a good game, and actually, I think we both did it. We bought these both on the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live. It's X-Men Arcade 2010 Backbone Konami. It's just a HD remake of the arcade classic multiplayer beat 'em up. You can play it through 4 to 6 players depending. I think it's just 4 on Xbox.
6 online.
6 online, okay. It's
4 local.
It's based off the 1989 pilot X-Men Pride of the X-Men, which was like a one-shot animated deal. Players must rescue Kitty Pryde and Xavier from Magneto. You'll play as Cyclops, Colossus, Wolverine, Storm, Nightcrawler, or Dazzler, and villains include Pyro, Blob, Wendigo, Nimrod, the White Queen, Juggernaut, Mystique, Magneto, and a crap ton of Sentinels.
Yes.
The game was left as it originally was with the dialogue untouched. They re-recorded the dialogue with different actors, but they kept the errors, just as a nod to the fans. Got really good reviews, ton of fun to play through. I played through this like 7 or 8 times the day it came out, and I swear I've beaten it probably like 20 times since then.
Still fun to play through today. I mean, it doesn't have the depth as like it's like a Castle Crashers as far as like depth of attacks and levels go, but it's still just, it's nostalgic as hell. Yeah.
This was actually on sale like a couple weeks ago for like $2 on Xbox Live.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was a $2 sale for it when they had that big sale going on a few weeks back for the April Fool's week. It was legitimately $2, so you got another preview game here, Dale.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll just say, yeah, just still fun to play through and very nostalgic. If you have memories going through it in the arcade, I'd recommend buying it. So, yeah, another preview game coming out this summer. The movie's called X-Men First Class, right?
No, this is actually not a tie-in to the movie. It's its own
But I mean,
thing.
it's coming alongside it.
Is it?
Right.
I didn't know they were releasing it alongside. It's just its own thing, completely own thing.
I got in here when I looked up this game's X-Men Destiny is the official name of the game. Destiny, coming out summer. I think summertime's when First Class is coming out.
I think that's just when it's coming out. I don't. They might be kind of ride the X-Men wave with it, but
they'd be stupid not to release them hand in hand.
Yeah, it doesn't tie into each other though. So
that's what they want you to think. Yeah. We don't know, but no, this game is actually being developed by Silicon Knights, and they're a big time developer. If you've forgotten, they made games like Eternal Darkness, which was a big hit on the GameCube, and Too Human on the 360. So they have they're a really reputable developer, and it's going to be published by Activision. It is currently scheduled to be released later this year, and the story is being written by Mike Carey, writer of the X-Men Legacy comic book series, and the game will put a focus on you being the new choice of a X-Men recruit to control the fate of their own destiny. Developers are putting a lot of emphasis on the choice on this game, and it takes place in San Francisco during a peace rally in memory of Professor X. That's right. Professor X is dead, so Jean-Luc Picard will not be doing voices in this game, unless he has a ghost, which I could see that happening.
Yeah.
And the player will choose one of 3 new mutants specifically designed for this game, and their own choices will end up determining their own unique allies and enemies, which I think that's pretty cool.
Well, that sounds like it's got some promise, definitely. So,
and the revealed cast so far, one of the playable characters is confirmed so far, and their name is Amy Yoshida, a 15-year-old Japanese girl who was smuggled into the United States by her parents to avoid placement in a mutant camp, and is furious
Doesn't that
to
always
be
happen?
abandoned by her parents. AKA, she is a stereotypical angsty teen.
Doesn't that always happen, though?
Yes, and there's only 3 non-playable characters confirmed so far in Gambit, Surge, and Colossus. So, I don't know, man, you think this game...
I got hopes for it. I'm just excited to play new
I think
X-Men
Silicon
game.
Knights being behind it is cool.
Well, Eternal Darkness was awesome, so I never played Too Human, so...
Yeah, I didn't care for Too Human, but Silicon Knights is cool.
This is going to be a short one. X-Men Origins Wolverine we actually covered last gen.
Episode 97.
Yes. Well, yeah, we actually did a whole review of this generation's game, yeah, but we talked more about the game for the last gen console. It's got basically the big difference on this: better graphics, better blood, or blood in general, I should say, because PS2 and the Wii didn't have blood. Because the 360 and PS3 had the, was it Unleashed?
Yep.
Unleashed edition?
No, I think Uncaged.
Uncaged, there you go. And basically that's all it was blood. So.
And I think easily hands down the best Sentinel fight in any X-Men game.
It was really good for a movie tie-in. I'd say, like, there were faults. I think there was too much puzzle work.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like action pieces were too far and few between, and then, like, they clustered a bunch of them at the end of the
Could
game.
have definitely balanced out a little better, that's for sure. But for the most
Listen to the
part,
review. I remember we did, like, a puntastic X-Men special that week.
yes.
So
I remember it being a
then they had, like,
extremely exciting episode.
the X-Men Origins came out, the game came out, and then they also had a Wolverine pizza from Papa John's.
And we also covered the X-Men cartoon
The
DVDs.
cartoon came out as well, so, yeah. That was an extreme episode of X-Men extremeness. Oh my god, that's lame.
You suck.
Segue into X-Men the official game. Bill, this one's yours.
Yes, X-Men the official game, also known as the game based off the third movie, which I don't know.
I don't. Is the PS2 version, Dill?
I don't know why they call it X-Men the official game, but it came out, yeah.
And it shows X3 on the front,
yeah,
too. Yeah,
2000. Yeah, same movie poster, but it came out on 2006 for the 360 only. This generation, developed by Z-Axis, put out by Activision. We pretty much covered this one in the previous installment, since I know you played through the PS2 version. I watched you play through the PS2 version, I remember, and
junk.
Yeah, quick movie cash-in game, obviously, same exact, play as Iceman, Nightcrawler, and Wolverine, and same villains on the other console versions too, so, yeah.
Alright. Well, technically that would wrap up Part 5 of the comic book retrospective. But
it does officially.
But I have some recently announced games that I've got to mention. So I will jump into this, because these are still breaking news type things. The Darkness 2 has been announced fall of 2011 this year. Actually, they've been working on it by Digital Extremes 2K Games. It will be a single-player first-person shooter written by Paul Jenkins. One of the big draws of the game is going to be quad wielding. You're going to have firearms at the same time as your darkness powers. So that'll be interesting to see what they do with that.
Fuck yeah.
Mike Patton's going to be returning to do the voice of the darkness. Light is more important, and will do more harm to you. It's going to incorporate finishing moves into the game, and it'll take place 2 years after the first game. There actually have been 2 demos released to critics so far with really positive reviews on that. And up next, I've got some expectations of this, but I'm kind of concerned at the same time. Spider-Man Edge of Time. It's coming out in fall 2011 by Beanox and Activision, the same team that did Shattered Dimensions. Another one-player action game written by Peter David, and the player will switch between Amazing Spider-Man and 2099 with a new cause and effect system. Say you knock down a statue as Amazing Spider-Man, it will not be standing when you play in the 2099 section.
Kind of like Zelda Ocarina of Time.
That'd be a little interesting.
You plant the seed, it's a full plant.
2099, you will try to prevent the death of Peter Parker, actually. That's one of the reasons for the game. I'm kind of concerned because I don't know how I feel about them doing another time thing with 2 different characters right after Shattered Dimension. It seems like they're just like, hey, this engine works, let's make another game with it.
Run into the ground like they did with the open world games.
I'm afraid of that, but I'm still looking forward to it. Shattered Dimensions was really fun, so we'll see how this one goes. The new Game Informer, the Mass Effect issue, actually has a really good article on it as well. So knock that out there too. But that is it. We're officially done.
I will also mention we tentatively, depending on planning goes, maybe a few months down the line, we may have a follow-up episode with a few comic book games unofficial comic book games, but based off
comics with games with comic stylings is what we're looking at. Like
it's pretty much just 3 games, unless we find a couple more,
5
or a few more. Unbound Saga, Comic Jumper, and Comic Zone,
and Infamous.
Oh yeah, Infamous.
And Prototype. Which are both getting sequels as well later this year.
Yes.
So we got a few more games to cover, and I actually want to know. This will be an email. Shoot Dale an email. Let us know if there's any games that we forgot.
That's right.
Or if there's any other comic-themed games that aren't based off of a comic book, but are themed like comic books in structure.
Crackdown is not a comic book game.
Like Comic Zone is a great example. You go from comic panel to comic panel. Comic Jumper once again. Infamous and Prototype are good examples of a superhero type game. So If you guys got any suggestions for games we should cover in this next segment, whenever we decide to do it, if we decide to do it.
We're all ears.
Yeah. All right.
All right, cool. All right, and if that email, if you want to send that tip our way, or if you have any other question or comment, is mailbag@ontappodcast.com. Or, as always, you can find our forums as part of the Retroids podcast network at retroids.com, along with many other great video game podcasts. And you can always get a hold of us on Twitter. I am Gruel on Twitter, Gruel, so you always get a hold of us that way. And like I said at the beginning of the show, be on the lookout for our next episode, which will be featuring reviews of SOCOM 4 and Mortal Kombat. So,
Boo. Yeah, good luck with those SOCOM reviews.
Yeah. Alright. Thanks for listening, everyone. Until next time, Excelsior!